1 minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. Forty-five seconds remaining. Thirty seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
To infinity and beyond.
He's live. He's nationwide. This is the Zach Gelb Show. Here's your host, Zach Gelb.
Live from the Play Show, yet not overly ostentatious studios of the Infinity Sports Network here in beautiful New York City, sitting on top of the 10th floor of 345 Hudson Street. Welcome on in to a Friday edition of the Zach Gelb Show across all of our local Infinity Sports Network affiliates, Sirius XM, Channel 158, the free Odyssey app, and of course, streaming live on YouTube. 855-212-4227 is the number to jump on in. Once again, 855-212-4227. You could always get at me on Instagram, where I'm straight flexing, or via the good old cesspool of Twitter, X, at Zach Gelb. That's ZACHGELB. I got Pat Boyle with me. I got Nico with me. I got Stuart Kovacs, and we are rocking and rolling all the way up until 6 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Pacific time. Dean Thomas going to join us coming up 40 minutes from now. The former MMA fighter now does work for the UFC. A part of a lot of their broadcasts. He will preview UFC 303 with us. That does come your way tomorrow in Las Vegas. And also at the top of the 5 p.m. Eastern time hour, we'll be joined by Ian Begley, who covers all of basketball for SNY here in New York. So he will be stopping by in the final hour of the show. Whole lot to do today. We knew yesterday, even though we weren't on the air for it, it was inevitable that Bronny James was going to be the 55th selection of the NBA draft and going to the Los Angeles Lakers. I'm just going to say this right off the bat. The whole nepotism conversation, I roll my eyes at. I don't care for it. I'm not going to sit here and say, shame on LeBron for getting his kid drafted. You know, other teams could have drafted him. They didn't have to listen to LeBron and Rich Paul, who were telling all the other teams, don't draft him, don't draft him, don't draft him. But the reality is, and maybe Bronny turns into a great player one day, the reality is what's probably best for Bronny to develop as a basketball player would have been to stay in college. Maybe you transfer to a smaller school like Duquesne. You'd be under the great guidance of LeBron's longtime friend and high school teammate in Drew Joyce III, who joined us and when he was appointed as the coach of Duquesne. And I was like saying, hey, what are your thoughts on Bronny? Let's get Bronny to Duquesne. But Bronny wanted to go to the NBA. Bronny had to know that he was going to get drafted at worst with the 55th pick in the draft. And no one drafted him before that. So I'm not going to freak out. I'm not going to get caught in basically like a mental pretzel, like a lot of other people are on social media, and lose my mind over Bronny James getting drafted. Because quite frankly, I think the story's cool. I do think it is cool that LeBron and Bronny are going to be on the same team. But I will say, here is my take from this. If you are LeBron James, who went out of his way 2 weeks ago on Twitter to respond to a tweet when he was poking fun, or someone that was tweeting was poking fun at this thought that LeBron doesn't want to win a championship anymore, and LeBron responded something along the lines of, oh, people say a lot of things, but it is 1,000% factual, and you can't debate it today. And this was my take all from the start. If LeBron was going to stay in Los Angeles, you can't tell me priority number one is to win an NBA championship again and to go win his 5th NBA championship. You can't sell me that. And I used this analogy yesterday, and I'll use it again. It's like, I've gone through a big weight loss, right, recently, in the last 3-4 years. I knew back in 2016 when I graduated college, I had to lose a ton of weight. I knew that. For years, I said, I want to lose weight. But until you get your ass in the gym and until you start eating healthier, that's when you're going to see the results. But just saying you want to lose weight or just saying you want to win a championship is nonsense. A lot of people want to do things and they don't actually accomplish them. And my point with LeBron is this. He could say he wants to win a championship, but does he actually? Do we see the actions where you look at the Lakers, if he stays there, and he's going to stay there, that suggests to me that LeBron James, his first priority, not second, not third, not fourth, not fifth, but his first priority is to win a championship. And you can't tell me with a serious look on your face, if you're LeBron, you want to come in studio, LeBron, sit right next to me, we'll inject you with True Serum. If I ask you, is your top priority still win a championship? And he said yes, it would be a lie. It would be. His top priority, even though, right, he came out and he kind of said, oh, that's my dream. It may not be Bronny's dream to play with his son in the NBA. Even Rich Paul said LeBron's fine if it doesn't happen. Baloney. Bronny going anywhere else. Remember when people were talking about Bronny being a first-round pick? There's serious conversations about that. It was all a bunch of nonsense. It was a farce. The Lakers were the 55th pick in the draft. You knew, like, if the Lakers really thought Bronny was that great, wouldn't they have picked him with their 17th overall pick? If they couldn't stomach him going somewhere else? Now, they made a good selection in Dalton Connect. It's like the first thing I could say in a positive way with the Lakers in a long time. Good on the Los Angeles Lakers with that draft pick. I was stunned he fell out of the lottery. But even the Lakers know Bronny isn't this great prospect. And it's a second-round pick. Who gives a rat's ass? The bigger point, though, here is that LeBron doesn't seriously care about winning a championship again. He doesn't. Because if he did, he could have got the best of both worlds. He could have said to Daryl Morey, said to Nick Nurse, Elton Brand, Josh Harris, you draft my son, I'll opt out of my contract. I won't even negotiate with the Lakers, and I'll come play in Philadelphia. Because if you put together LeBron James, Joel Embiid, and Tyrese Maxey, that is a better trio of players than anything the Lakers are going to be able to put out on the court this year. And if you want to tell me, oh, but Zach, him and AD have chemistry, and AD was finally able to play a season where he was actually healthy, playing 76 games. Well, Joel Embiid has health problems too, and Joel Embiid is a better player than Anthony Davis. Joel Embiid has won an MVP in this league the last time I checked. So Embiid is better than Anthony Davis. That's why I would go to Philly. And then the third piece, who are the Sixers or who are the Lakers getting in this third piece? Like, I'm reading if D'Angelo Russell opts into the contract. I heard Windhorst say this on First Take today. Yeah, that's right. Get Up First Take, whatever he was on. But Windhorst said, Windy, for people that know him well, Windy said on the ESPN that maybe the Lakers, if Russell opts in, could trade him for like Kyle Kuzma. That's what he was talking about. Now, they've already gone through the Kyle Kuzma experience. But you can't tell me that Kyle Kuzma would be a better third option than Tyrese Maxey. The other name he threw out there was Cam Johnson, who's a good young player in this league. But you can't tell me that Cam Johnson, maybe getting a deal done with them, then D'Angelo Russell would be going back to the Nets. Man, I feel like he just flip-flops between the Nets and the Lakers. But you can't tell me that Cam Johnson is a better player than Tyrese Maxey. So LeBron thought that only the Lakers could get his son on his team. That's the crazy part. That's not true. So you got to remember when LeBron first went to LA. People said, LeBron's top priority isn't winning another championship. People said this was not for basketball reasons. This was more for setting himself up for life after basketball, the movie business, more money, and like all that stuff, right? Whatever was feeding you. Now, to LeBron's credit, they won a championship. LeBron has exceeded expectations in Los Angeles. That's why it's mind-numbing to me when people go, oh, LeBron's tenure in Los Angeles has been a disaster. It's been a failure. No, let's be fair. LeBron won a championship in Los Angeles. People didn't think he was going to win a championship in Los Angeles. But all good things come to an end. All good things have an expiration date on them. And LeBron's time in Los Angeles should have ended this offseason. But it's not going to. And not that I ever thought LeBron was leaving Los Angeles. And we get into this conversation all the time. What should an athlete do and what will an athlete do? I told you it's a 98% chance. 99, I think I even said. 99.9, I think I said. That LeBron was staying in LA. That's what will happen. That's what is happening. But what should have happened is LeBron should have forced another team to draft Bronny that was on his list because they got him to LA. They should have forced him to go somewhere else where he had a better chance to win a championship. In Dallas would have been a better chance to win a championship. Miami, I don't know if he wanted to go make amends with Pat Riley, but that would have been a better chance to go win a championship. Heck, before the New York Knicks re-signed OG Anunoby, the Knicks would have been a better situation than the Los Angeles Lakers. Golden State, we're talking about Paul George potentially winding up with the Warriors. I would love to see Steph and LeBron end their careers together. But I look at the options and I see who has the cap space and who's looking for another star. Nothing tops Philadelphia in terms of realistic options. LeBron could have been in Philly, could have had his son there, and would have had Joel Embiid, Joel the Process Embiid, and Tyrese Maxey. And it would have been one last chance for LeBron in however many more years he's going to play to legitimately capture another NBA championship. Won 2 in Miami, 1 in Cleveland, and 1 in LA. And with him staying in LA, this is the end of LeBron James winning another championship in this league. And I had a college buddy of mine, Abdul Smith, who used to play for Temple. I think he's like a big Laker honk. And, he's like Stu. Loves the Lakers, love the Lakers, love the Lakers. And he saw, yesterday I put out a video saying LeBron doesn't care about winning a championship anymore. And he's like, this is one of the dumbest takes I've ever heard. And I'm reading his explanation back to me. He's like, they were just in the Western Conference Finals 2 years ago, and Darvin Ham can't coach. Is J.J. Redick now all of a sudden an upgrade over Darvin Ham? And last time I checked, Darvin Ham, I'm not saying Darvin Ham's perfect, but he was the coach of the team when they got to the Western Conference Finals. And also, I think that was a fluke. And when they actually went up against a championship quality team, they got smoked. I had tickets to Game 5 in Denver. Denver Lakers. I didn't even get to go. I went to Denver to go visit my sister and my brother-in-law and my niece, who's adorable, by the way. But I didn't get to go to the game because LeBron couldn't win a single game against the Denver Nuggets 2 years ago. And who are the Lakers? Like, let's even say, Stu, they get Trae Young. They're not getting Donovan Mitchell, but let's just say they get Trae Young. So you have LeBron, Trae Young, and Anthony Davis. Are they beating the Thunder in a 7-game series? Nope. Are they beating the Nuggets in a 7-game series? Nope. Are they beating the Timberwolves in a 7-game series? Nope. Like, those are just 3 teams right there. And then let's see what the Clippers look like with Paul George. The Mavericks right now, on paper, are a better team just as long as Kyrie can only focus on basketball and not trying to fight all of the Boston fans. The Lakers going into next year are looking at trying to maybe get a 5th seed at best so they avoid, or no, maybe a 6th seed at best to avoid being in that play-in tournament to get into the postseason. That's what the Lakers are. And maybe at best the Lakers can win a round. But they're not winning 2. They're not winning 3. And they're not winning an NBA championship. And that's my biggest gripe. Forget about the nepotism nonsense. Forget about the Bronny conversation. Everyone is looking at this the wrong way. The way you should be looking at it is, this is a signal that LeBron is not winning a championship again. And don't tell me, oh, why would he leave the Lakers? When he realized he couldn't win a championship in Cleveland the first time, he left. When he got to Miami, won 2 championships and realized that the core was deteriorating, he left. When he was in Cleveland, won a championship, which is the greatest moment of his career, got to a bunch more, and realized he didn't have enough ammunition to win another championship, he left. So don't tell me he can't leave the Lakers, because if he actually wanted to win another championship, he would have left the Los Angeles Lakers this offseason. It is the Zach Gelb Show on the Infinity Sports Network, 855-212-4227, 855-212-4227. We'll take a break. I'm skeptical to do this next segment. I am. And no, just because Pat Boyle here, this is not when we are talking about the Kyle Filipowski story, which is absolutely bonkers. We'll get to that later. But I watched a presidential debate last night between Joe Biden and Donald Trump. I have a few sport takeaways because both of them brought off their golf games and probably lied through their teeth. But I was watching it last night, and I said Donald Trump shouldn't be president. I said Joe Biden shouldn't be president. And I have 2 athletes that should get together, be president, vice president, and should be the next president-vice president duo, the next dynamic duo of the United States. I'll tell you who that is when we return right here on the Zach Gelb Show, where we may talk some politics next on the Infinity Sports Network.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. 3 minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. Forty-five seconds remaining. Thirty seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Todo lo malo echarlo para allá. Oh my God, dame salud y prosperidad. No tengo nada, pero soy feliz. Solo recuerdos habitan en mí. Sueños que
This is the Infinity Sports Network.
This is the new song of summer. That's how I'm going to deem it as. It's called Oh My God, and it's by Mets second baseman Jose Iglesias. So Stu and I were at the Mets game on Tuesday night, the Met-Yankee game, where Stu was miserable because the Mets opened up a can of whoop-ass on the New York Yankees. And Stu and I had a very splendid time at the ballpark. We had the filet mignon cheesesteaks, which were delicious, and we had a few cold ones. But the Mets were just hitting home run after home run off of Garrett Cole because he doesn't have his spider tack. And anytime the Mets would hit a home run, they would play this song, and the whole dugout would dance to it. And then I find out that Mets second baseman Jose Iglesias, who's been in the MLB for a long time, he is the artist of this song. So that's pretty damn cool. And it's not just like, oh, a sports thing. When I was working out at the gym this morning, I was listening to this. And Pat Boyle, who I found out today is a Cubs fan, go Cubs go, go Cubs go, which I did not know, is rocking with this song so much. And this is like Pat Boyle, you know, when he's hanging out in his like frat apartment and he's like slugging those Surfside drinks and having all that penne alla vodka and the mussels and the gabagool that's in his fridge. Pat Boyle is liking this song so much that he's actually thinking about becoming a Mets fan. Is that right, Patty?
Yeah, I mean, it's infectious. The Mets' incredible run from a team that was going to trade everybody, blow up the core, to now they're a playoff contender, wild card albeit, but they're the best team in baseball in the last month. And they've got the support of Grimace, the purple blob from McDonald's, who has revived their season. And now their backup second baseman can write a pretty damn good song.
It's kind of crazy. The Mets season is now turning out to be somewhat of a fun one. It probably will end very soon because I don't think this team is really all that good. But the fact that they're at 500 blows my mind. And the Grimace whole situation where my best friend, he goes, "You're not going to believe what I bought." I said, "What, Alex?" He goes, "I bought a Grimace costume and I'm wearing it to the next Met game." I said, "Lose my number, never talk to me again." Oh, wait, no. That would make me Kyle Filipowski's girlfriend. Basically what she said to the family. So I don't want to do that. We'll get into that Filipowski story later because that's one of the craziest things I've ever read. So the Mets are now known as the Grimace team, and then their backup second baseman, who has played for the Red Sox, the Tigers, the Reds, the Orioles, the Angels, and the Rockies, and he was an all-star in 2015, is a musician. I did not know that. So it's a pretty damn good song. Anywho, last night, I'm not going to lie, even though the presidential debate didn't make many of us walk away feeling inspired with either candidate in Donald Trump or Joe Biden, I felt like it kind of got me ready for football season. That had Sunday night football vibes going in, and then after the first 3 minutes, it was like, oh boy, is this like a crappy AFC South showdown on Thursday Night Football that Al Michaels is dreading to absolutely call to wrap up his illustrious career? And there could be a chance. I saw Al Michaels is now getting, what is it, AI'd? Is that the right terminology there for the Olympics? They're doing AI Al Michaels for the Olympics. That's a real story, right? That was not some fake story that I read?
That is absolutely real.
Oh, my God. I can't believe that.
Al Michaels AI?
Yeah. It would not surprise me if Al Michaels gets like a really bad Thursday night matchup this year and he's like, all right, let's get AI to call this game for me. Because there's some games where the great Al Michaels, do you believe in miracles? Yes. You could just tell he has no part and wants no business being a part of some of these Thursday night games. But I'm watching the presidential debate last night and I walked into it and I was like, I feel like this is a Sunday night football matchup. And all I need is like a promo code for like a sports betting app to somehow bet on this presidential debate. And I kept on like trying to figure out what the score was going to be. And that's how I was processing it. But then sports came up. And here we have someone who was a president and someone who's currently serving as the president, both running against one another to see who's going to be the president for the next 4 years. And these two old men were talking about their golf games at the presidential debate. This is what it sounded like, courtesy of CNN.
I just won 2 club championships, not even senior, 2 regular club championships. To do that, you have to be quite smart, and you have to be able to hit the ball a long way. And I do it. He doesn't do it. He can't hit a ball 50 yards. He challenged me to a golf match. He can't hit a ball 50 yards.
Look, I'd be happy to have a driving contest with him. I got my handicap, which when I was vice president, down to a 6. But by the way, I told you before, I'm happy to play golf if you carry your own bag. Think you can do it?
That's the biggest lie. There's a 6 handicap of all.
I was at 8 handicap. Yeah. 8.
Never.
But I had, how many?
I've seen you swing. I know you swing.
Let's
not act like children.
President Trump, we're going to
21
Let's not act like children.
I love how Trump ends it. Let's not act like children. Let's not act like children. You started it by talking about how you won 2 club championships in golf, and it wasn't like a senior kind of event. It was with all the youngsters as well, which you probably lied on and fudged some of those scores. And now it's like, oh, let's not act like children. And then Biden to then respond back, I'd like to see you carry your own bag, basically calling Trump a fat slob, was electric television. If it wasn't for who was going to be the president of the United States, it wouldn't have this serious reaction. But it's such a joke anyway that I'm sitting there and I thought I was watching, forget Sunday Night Football, I thought I was watching Saturday Night Live. I didn't think that was real. And I kid you not, CNN missed a golden opportunity. Because not to get too political here, I didn't love the moderators, to be honest. I would have put Inside the NBA either to do a halftime show or moderate the debate. We don't know what the future of Inside the NBA is. It looks like next year is going to be their last season. Could you imagine if you had Charles Barkley, man, this debate is terrible, and Shaquille O'Neal just sitting there at the debate desk and giving the questions to Donald Trump and then also to Joe Biden? I want to see a match. I do. I think they still do the match. That was like hot during the pandemic, and then a year ago I saw there was a match, and I'm like, this thing's still going on. Call up Tiger, call up Phil. We'll pair Trump with one of them. You'll pair Biden with the other, and let's see who's going to be the better golfer. And there were a lot of lies on that stage last night. And with all the insults and everything going back and forth, it's so funny to me that it looked like Trump was going to fall over when Biden claimed he was a 6 handicap and then quickly said, oh, no, it was more like an 8 handicap when I was VP. So that's just absolutely wild. What's more believable, Boyle? That Trump legitimately won 2 club championships without fudging his score, or that Joe Biden is a 6 handicap in golf?
I mean, neither of them are believable, but I guess the more believable of the two is Trump, because there's just no shot Biden's a 6 handicap. Absolutely. I know you swing. I've seen you swing. You're terrible. There's no chance.
It was wild. And I don't take politics really seriously. Like, I'm like the least political person in the world, just because the whole system is such a joke. And I log on Twitter, and I thought Twitter was awesome last night. Yeah, you had people that seriously care and they're losing their mind, but people that were just playing into the jokes last night after these two were arguing over the handicap and club championships and if Trump could carry his bag and if Biden could actually swing the club. I thought it was TV gold last night. Now, I'm watching it, and I saw a lot of people, like our good friend Mark Malusis, who used to host here on the network when it was Taz and the Moose in the mornings. He put out a video last night. Moose does like these walks late at night, and he records these videos, I guess because Moose is now a TV anchor, so I think it's after his late news sports telecast. So Moose is leaving wherever the studio is in New York City, and he's like, seriously, America? This is the best that we got? And it got me thinking, like, who could be the next president of the United States if you don't want it to be Donald Trump or Joe Biden? Like, we say this in sports. You want a coach fired, you don't want to pay a quarterback. Who's your replacement? So if you say Biden or Trump shouldn't be president, who's the replacement? And I have a ticket that I think America can really get behind. Tom Brady, the greatest quarterback of all time, looks like a politician these days. He's got 7 Super Bowl championships. Stop with Fox, all right? Don't get ready to call games for Fox this year. I want Tom Brady to run for either, let's say president, right? He seems presidential. And then I want his VP to maybe be one of the more popular men in America who also just retired, and that is Jason Kelce. A Tom Brady, Jason Kelce ticket would be electric. And it would actually make me go to the polls in November, and I would vote for TB12 and Jason Kelce. I guess Kelce couldn't be the president. He'd have to be the vice president, because if he's control of all the nuclear codes and all that stuff, and he's doing a keg stand, I wouldn't trust him in that regard. But I think if he had like a babysitter with him in the Oval Office and it was Brady the president and you had Jason Kelce as the vice president, I think that would be a much better ticket than whatever they're going to offer us with Joe Biden and Kamala Harris, and then also Donald Trump and whoever is going to be his VP. Stu, who would you like to see in sports, president and vice president, to try to compete and stir up another legitimate option come November of 2024?
Okay, so for president, I will go with someone who, in his past as an athlete, was a very good leader. Mm-hmm. I thought a lot of people respected. He's very polarizing, and I will go with Tim Tebow as the president. I think he can...
has a big following, too.
Big following.
Got a lot of donations.
Yes, so I think he can lead And as his vice president, I kind of went with like your Kelsey route, someone who's very lovable.
Urban Meyer, you going the corrupt route?
Jeez, no. Someone very lovable, funny.
Urban Meyer would walk up to Putin, and he would just kick him like he did to that kicker when he was the head coach of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
No, Urban Meyer I don't think would go well, but I think Shaq as the vice president would be someone I would go with, yeah.
Tebow and Shaq, what a ticket that would be.
I think that could win.
I like it. Boyle, what do you got?
That's a heck of a combo. And Shaq, right there, you fulfill your head of security needs as well. They don't need a Secret Service.
No one will mess with America.
Exactly.
Shaq would just walk over to you and step on you like you're an ant.
I was going to say McAfee, but I'm going to go for a more down-the-middle, moderate, maybe a slightly boring ticket. Give me Peyton Manning as my president.
Okay.
Another leader of men, one of the greatest quarterbacks of the last 20 years. He's involved in everything. He's funny. He's witty. He speaks well. There you go. His VP?
Eli, right?
I was going to say the Manning brothers, but just to
I
make
actually think Eli is funnier than Peyton Manning.
I think he is too. I think Eli is funnier.
When they were playing, not the case, but now post-playing and broadcasting, Eli makes me laugh more than number 18.
Here's the thing about Peyton and Eli. It's kind of been, I forget who was on with them that kind of said, yeah, you guys don't even really hang out that much anymore. I don't know if the Peyton and Eli relationship, I don't think they're as close as we're led on to believe.
Really?
That's what I've heard.
Huh. I've not heard that.
And I'll have to go back and get you this, but I forget who was on with them during the Manning cast last year that kind of pointed it out, and there was like a moment or two of some awkward silence. But anyway, as good as the Manning brothers on paper.
Aaron Rodgers family drama with the Manning?
No, nothing like that.
Okay.
I don't think they're, and maybe it's just because of their busy schedules, I just don't think they're with one another nearly as often as you would think.
Okay, so Manning.
So Peyton's my president.
Mm-hmm.
Steph Curry is my VP. Another leader.
Steph is very likable.
That's the thing. Not that he's. I wouldn't even say Steph is very likable.
Oh, why not? He's one of the more likable athletes on the planet.
Yeah, I don't think it's just because of like his aura. I think it's because you don't hate him.
Yeah,
like he's impossible to hate. Not so much you love him, where he's polarizing and you have lovers and you have haters, but it's more so love. I just think Curry is just almost impossible to hate because he always smiles. He's one of the most entertaining basketball players we've ever watched, one of the greatest shooters, and he's a good leader. He's been the leader of that team for a decade.
Could we get Belichick as the press secretary? There'll be no further questions. We're not going to be talking about Putin today. We are on to talking about something else. We're on to talking about oil. Like at the Travelers Championship where they want to talk about oil.
Belichick would fit in good with D.C. because he's got a 24-year-old girlfriend.
Wouldn't be the first one to have a little fun in the Oval Office. That's all I'll say. It is the Zach Gelb Show on the Infinity Sports Network. We will take a time out. We will come on back when we do return. Dean Thomas, the great former MMA fighter, now does a great job covering the UFC, will join us to preview UFC 303. Update time. Here's the Ackman, Rich Ackerman.
Infinity Sports Network. Sports Flash.
Well, first the Raptors re-signed Scotty Barnes, and now Emmanuel Quickley, the latter getting a 5-year extension to stay in Toronto worth $175 million. The Mavericks are sending Tim Hardaway Jr. to Detroit for Quentin Grimes. The NBA draft took place over the last 2 days. It's the NHL's turn tonight. First round takes place in Las Vegas. San Jose Sharks hold the number 1 pick and will use it on Boston University center Macklin Celebrini. GM Mike Greer suffered through an awful season, but sees brighter days ahead for his team.
To have someone hopefully that can be a big part of our core and a player here for a long, long time that we can build around and add to our group of, Will and Musty and Eklund and some of these other young players. I think it's an exciting time for the organization and for the fans.
The race in the AL East is heating up as July approaches. The Orioles have won back-to-back games to move into a tie for the division lead with the slumping Yankees. Orioles go for their 3rd straight in Texas after routing the Rangers in the series opener. The Yankees have dropped 10 of 13 after falling in Toronto last night, starting the series with their 4th straight loss. The Astros, winners of 7 in a row, to move back to the 500 mark, will face the Mets. I'm Rich Ackerman.
855-212-4227. That's the number to get in touch with us. The Infinity Sports Network. Give us a call. 855-212-4227.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. Five seconds remaining. Seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
This is the Infinity Sports Network.
All righty, it's time to preview UFC 303 that comes your way tomorrow. So let's do so with one of our favorites, and that, of course, is Dean Thomas, kind enough to join us once again on the Zach Gelb Show. Dean, always great to have you on. Thanks so much for doing this. And how you been?
I've been good, man. It's always good to be on the show. I'm glad to be here. You guys are my people, so anything you need, you know I got you.
Well, hey, we always love when you come on, and we appreciate you saying that. So obviously this was supposed to be Conor McGregor going up against Michael Chandler. McGregor had to get the fight postponed, and we find out he has a broken toe. You being a fighter and probably having to go through a bunch of different injuries, how much would a broken toe impact a fighter?
I mean, it's easy to say. I mean, everybody's a little different. It's easy to kind of criticize Conor over this, but it's hard to say, man. Like, I don't want to criticize him because his game is based on movement. And if your game is based on movement, you need your wheels. You can't have a flat tire. So maybe it was better for him to do this, but I know there are a lot of guys that would have fought with a broken toe. I do know that, though.
Yeah, like Alex Pereira in his last fight had a broken toe. So, like, you think that Conor probably could have fought? It sounds like what you're saying.
He definitely could have fought, but he said in the interview he doesn't want to give these guys an extra advantage. You know, Conor's not very good to the MMA community. He doesn't want to, which is the reason why when you have a Conor McGregor card, he doesn't let other big-name fighters fight on his card because he doesn't want them to get any love. So he's never going to be good to fighters. So to give Michael Chandler an advantage by him going in injured would be doing Michael Chandler a favor. So I can see why he would want to pull out.
Do you kind of think he used that as an excuse just to give himself more time? Because we've seen some videos of Conor, and it doesn't look like he's in the best of shape these days to get ready to go defeat someone like Michael Chandler.
Well, I mean, it's all kind of perspective because we don't know the timeline of some of these videos. Because he came out with some videos where he looked really sharp. And I was like, man, Michael Chandler might be in trouble. And then a couple of days later, it's like, all right, he's out to fight. So it's really hard to say because there's no date on these videos of when he's coming out or showing himself or what he looks like. And Conor's in Ireland, so no one really knows what he's doing out there. Like, he's not in the MMA community. He's not even all that light in the MMA community. So it's really hard to get a read on what Conor's doing.
Talking to Dean Thomas right now. Do you ultimately expect that we will get this fight? Because that's my fear. With how long we talked about this fight, then we had a date, and then it gets canceled, and now everyone's saying, you know, from the UFC side, it feels like they're trying to reschedule this thing in the next 2 to 3 months. I just raise an eyebrow here, and I wonder if we're ever going to actually get this fight.
You know, I'm very optimistic this fight happening. I'm hoping. My fingers are crossed. And not only for our sake, but for Michael Chandler's sake, because he's been waiting for this fight for 2 years. He put his life on hold for 2 years, hoping that this fight would happen. So I'm just hoping that he gets the opportunity to get this matchup, and then we can all move on with our lives. And especially Michael Chandler, he can move on with his life. And Conor McGregor can either get out of the sport or just whatever he's going to do. But let's get some closure on this situation.
Dean Thomas here with us. All righty, let's get to the UFC 303 card. The UFC did a very good job fixing this card with all the cancellations. Alex Pereira against Yuri Prochazka. I know we've seen it before, but how do you kind of expect this one to go down? I love Pereira. He's my favorite fighter to watch now these days.
And Pereira is different. He's something special. All week I've been thinking that Yuri was going to come out and surprise him with something, but just being around their energies this week, I kind of changed my mind on that. I think Pereira is just too focused and he's too in the zone, and the timing is just right for him to go on this spectacular run. I mean, what he's doing is unprecedented. Coming in just 3 years ago, winning belts in 2 different divisions, and just beating everybody in front of him, basically with one skill set too. So I just think that because he's taking these short notice fights, that's a good sign of like where his head is at and how much he wants to fight right now. And I just think that he's not going to get beat for a while.
I know we were supposed to get John Jones and Stipe Miocic back at Madison Square Garden. That fight got postponed, expected to happen once again at Madison Square Garden, I think in November. But even John Jones talked about the possibility of him fighting Pereira. How do you think that fight would go down if we were able to get the two of them in the same octagon?
I think it depends on what we see from Pereira this weekend. I mean, right now, I would think John Jones would beat him. I mean, John Jones is the greatest fighter we've ever seen. So I would think that John Jones would beat him. But if we see a Pereira come out there and do something spectacular this weekend against a guy like Yuri, then I think John Jones is going to steer clear of Alex Pereira. I mean, John Jones is at the point of his career now where he's looking for one fight, a legacy fight against Stipe Miocic. He doesn't want to fight the top guys. That's pretty evident. He's done his work, so he doesn't really need to prove anything to anybody. So I don't think he's going to fight any of the top guys. But if if Alex shows some weakness in his takedown defense this weekend, then I see John Jones calling him out.
Well, let me ask you this. Not who the best fighter is, because you said pound for pound, right? It's John Jones. But the current active face of the UFC, who do you think is the face of the UFC right now?
It might, if this weekend goes right for Alex, it might be Alex. It really might be Alex. And I think that's all because of him stepping up at UFC 300. When he stepped up at UFC 300 and did what he did and gave us that meme-worthy performance,
yeah,
I mean, he really put himself on another level. And him stepping up this time, if he can get a good win here in impressive fashion, he will be the face of the UFC.
Now, it was one of the craziest things. After getting kicked in a spot where no one wants to get hit, he then waved off the official and then knocked out his opponent. That was just unbelievably awesome. When we get to the rest of this card, Ortega and Lopez, how do you think this one will go down?
You know, and I said it before, I thought Brian Ortega was at a disadvantage taking a short notice fight. And the fact that he couldn't make weight at 3 a.m. in the morning, they decided to call it off and then just move up a weight class. And it's a bad sign for Brian Ortega. I don't think Brian Ortega does very well. He might be competitive in the first round, but I don't think he does very well in this fight. I mean, he's going up against a dog in Diego Lopez who thrives on opportunity. Again, timing is everything. The fact that he got this, he probably looks at it as an opportunity to show the world who he is. I think Diego Lopez stops him.
And then who do you like in this Smith-Deliza fight?
I got to go with Smith. I think this is a good opportunity. Like if he was still fighting Carlos Oberg, I might be leaning towards Oberg just because of the timing. But Delize coming up from 185, his strength is in grappling. Anthony Smith might be a better grappler. I think Anthony Smith wins this fight. He might even stop Delize. He's longer on the feet, taller, bigger guy. I think he might even stop Delize.
And then last thing I'll ask you, Dean Thomas. I know to speculate the future, and like I'm a casual UFC fan, but I've been watching more and more of it really ever since the pandemic, and I love it, especially when I get to go. And I was at the Prudential Center a month ago for the big UFC card that they had out there in New Jersey, and you saw Islam win. What do you think is next for him? Just wondering in his next bout. Who would you like to see him fight?
He's got to fight Arman Sarukian. That's a no-brainer to me. Arman Sarukian, it'll be a rematch. It was Arman's first fight in the UFC. He didn't get an ample time to prepare. He's gotten better over the years. He's carved a name for himself in terms of being the bad guy. He's got a suspension, though, but hopefully that's going to be retroactive, and he'll be able to fight within a decent timeline. He's got to fight Arman Sarukian. To me, there's no other person in the UFC that does justice for a title shot than Arman Sarukian.
He is former UFC fighter Dean Thomas. That is a great job covering the sport. Dean, always great to connect up with you. Enjoy the card coming up tomorrow.
All right, my man. I'm here at the UFC X right now. I hope that the quality of the video is okay, but I do what I can, man. I appreciate you.
Well, thanks so much. Stay cool out there. I know it's really hot out in Las Vegas right now, so we appreciate Dean Thomas stopping by with us. All right, it is the Zach Gelb Show on the Infinity Sports Network. Let's get back into the LeBron James conversation. Bronny is going to be a Los Angeles Laker, 55th pick in the draft. It has sparked a question. I said earlier that I don't think LeBron's going to win another championship. I'm saying in Los Angeles is going to be a sign of that. I thought he should have told the Sixers to go draft Bronny, and then LeBron should have taken his talents to Philadelphia and go to Philly and team up with Joel Embiid and Tyrese Maxey. But now with Bronny staying, going to L.A., you got J.J. Redick, the coach, Anthony Davis still there. It's a foregone conclusion, and it's a lock that LeBron James is going to be back with the Los Angeles Lakers. The question then becomes, and this is our poll question today, which you could go vote on at INF Sportsnet and also at Zach Gelb. How much longer will LeBron James play in the NBA? 1 year, 2 more years, 3 more years, or 4 years or more? Right now, 2 more years is at 43%. 26.9% is 1 more year. 19.4% is 3 more years. And no, this is not a political statement, 4 more years, but 4 more years is at 10.8%. We're coming on back. How many more years will LeBron James play in the association? I'll give you my answer next.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. 45 seconds remaining. Seconds remaining. Seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Infinity and beyond.
He's live. He's nationwide. This is the Zach Gelb Show.
Alrighty, away we go. Hour number 2 of our radio program. It is the Zach Gelb Show on the Infinity Sports Network. Fun hour number 1. As I made it clear, LeBron's top priority is no longer winning a championship. We also went around the room, had some fun off that very, very tough to watch presidential debate last night. If we went into the sports world, who would be a good president, vice president ticket? I came up with Tom Brady and Jason Kelsey. Pat Boyle. You had Peyton Manning and Steph Curry. And then Stuart Kovacs surprising everybody with Tim Tebow and Shaquille O'Neal. And we just had, a few moments ago, Dean Thomas on to preview UFC 303. So let's get back into the LeBron James topic. And I'll take it to a take that I had going back to the end of April, where at the end of April, I said LeBron should leave the Lakers. I still stand by that. We know it won't happen, though. And then I also said, however, I think LeBron stays, the Lakers draft Bronny, the Lakers hire J.J. Redick, and then this upcoming season would be LeBron James's final season. So I'm going to be right that LeBron stays. I'm right that they hired J.J. Redick. I'm right that they drafted Bronny. But where I think I'm going to be wrong is that this upcoming year is LeBron James's final season. Because, Pat, you usually have a pretty good read on this, and you have a good read on people. LeBron James doesn't come off as someone to you, right, that would just retire at the end of the season. Like, just out of nowhere, we'll hold the press conference and unceremoniously just say, okay, that's it. No build-up, no farewell tour, and all that jazz. You'd think we would probably know going into the season, like how it was for Jeter and even, I think, Mariano, too, that it was going to be the final season and LeBron basically gets paraded around from stadium to stadium and gets all those gifts on the teams that he beat up from.
At the absolute minimum, it feels like LeBron would announce he's retiring in January of that season.
So at least you get the All-Star game send-off?
Yeah, so you get the All-Star game break, the All-Star game send-off, and all that stuff. But yes, I do believe, I agree with you, that LeBron is the type of person who does not mind the attention.
Sure.
And we would get the full season retirement tour.
So right now, let me just go around the room here. Throw me out a number. What's the percentage out of 100 that this upcoming season is LeBron James's final season? Stu, what's your number?
I'd say like 25%.
25%. Boyle?
I'll go slightly higher, 30%. I would be close to stunned if he retires after this year.
I'm going to now say like 10%. So I could still see, right? He gets Bronny. I don't know how much Bronny's going to play. I don't know the details of Bronny. Like, do we think Bronny's going to be in the G League? It's probably best for him because he could play more. But doesn't LeBron make sure that his kid's on the bench? Like, Giannis's brother's always on the bench. Wouldn't you think that Bronny is on the bench? Like, I kind of have a tough time thinking that Bronny's going to be in the G League. What about you, Pat?
It's tough.
He should, but I don't think he will.
Yeah, he should. But then, like you said, Giannis's brother, Thanasis, is on the bench, barely ever plays a lick.
Is that how you say the first name?
Thanasis?
Yeah.
I'm almost positive.
I've always seen it spelled. I've never known how to say it because I never thought I needed to ever say it on the radio because I would just refer to him as one of Giannis's brothers.
Yeah. I mean, if you want to do up the Greek accent, I'm sure you could hit him with a Thanasis.
Ooh.
But it's probably, Thanasis is...
Are you Greek?
No.
Irish?
Italian, Irish, a little bit of German.
What's the largest percentage of
Irish and Italian, basically like
split?
40% each.
Okay. I feel like you're more Irish than Italian.
Well, yes, the name would suggest that.
If you were Patty O'Boyle, I really think you're Irish.
My ancestor used to be O'Boyle.
And what, they came over, they just chopped off the O?
Basically.
Oh.
My great-grandparents, basically got rid of the O. So Thanasis never plays. He's not an NBA caliber player, but they keep him on the bench to appease one of the best players in basketball. So it does, but this is his son. And if LeBron really wants the best interests of Bronny, I think the way that it could most likely realistically go is he starts the season in the G League. And if there's any injuries to any guard depth that the Lakers have, I could see him getting called up. Or I could see him getting called up anyway after 25 or 30 or so games.
I do respect LeBron a lot. And I know sometimes, we have a lot of fun with how much he cries to the officials and some of the corny things that he may do on social media. And he tries to be, buddy-buddy with everybody. But I mean this genuinely. I think LeBron is a tremendous father. And really, there's never really been... a big, crazy issue, personally, that we found out about with LeBron publicly for someone that his entire life, basically ever since high school, even middle school, that he's been in the public spotlight. But you said something, Pat, and I wanted to preface what I just said there before my next comment. This is but. You said if LeBron is doing what's best for his son, it would be in the G League. If LeBron was doing what's best for his son, Bronny wouldn't even have got drafted. Bronny would have stayed in college. And Bronny would have continued to develop his game. That's what would have been what's best for Bronny James. But even though LeBron has kind of said, hey, I'm good if it doesn't happen, that's a bunch of BS. It's like when, you and your buddies order pizza, 4 or 5 pies, and you go, oh, I only had a slice. Come on. Everyone knows you had more than just one slice. So LeBron saying at the end, oh, I have moved off the idea of having to play in the NBA with my son, and then your agent only let him work out with 2 teams, which LeBron's in on, and then is calling teams yesterday, according to Bob Myers, saying, don't draft Bronny. If you do, he's going to Australia. We all know this is centered around LeBron James wanting to play with Bronny. So, with that being said on the timeline, and then kind of saying what I said, that LeBron's priority number 1 isn't to win a championship, I feel like the future of Bronny in terms of how much he's going to play this year. I don't think this is just, LeBron plays 1 game and he's like, all right, we filled that, and then we check the box. I think he wants to play a season or close to a season with his son. So he could force that and get that this year. Or maybe he makes this a 2-year process and it is kind of a double dip where you develop and then what next year would be his final season, you play with your son and he's on the roster from the start of the season. So all those dominoes, they still need to fall. But there is a part, that's why I still give it 10%, where I'm like, let's say Bronny is on the roster, plays sparingly this year, and then LeBron's like, okay, I've accomplished everything. I already have the scoring record. I got 4 championships. I'm in LA, and then I'm done. But then it's he's about to probably sign, a 2 or 3 more year contract? Just because you sign a 3-year contract, which will probably be the extension, will take a max. I heard Wendy was on ESPN today saying, oh, maybe LeBron will take a $10 to $12 million pay cut to help out the Lakers. I don't think LeBron James is doing that. He's going to sign another ridiculous contract. The question's just going to be how many years it is. So right now, long answer short, when you play out like all the possibilities, I think when you look at this, 1 more year, 2 more years, 3 more years, or 4 more years, and I was someone at the end of April said that he's going to play 1 more season, I would say the most likely is 2 more years for LeBron. Then I would actually say the next answer is 3 more years because of the contract. He could sign a 3-year deal. Then I would say it's 1 more year, but I don't think he's going to be playing like 4 more years in the NBA. And you got to remember it as well from an age standpoint. LeBron's 39, turns 40 in December. You know, LeBron and Tom Brady have really fried all of our brains on what we expect from athletes now for the rest of the future. Because look at guys in the NFL, like when Michael Penix Jr. gets drafted, and Michael Penix Jr. is what? He's 24 and he turns 25, I believe. No, he's 24. Michael Penix, he just turned 24. And people are like, oh, well, if he sits 2 years, then, you know, his first season, he's going to be like 26 or 27. If Michael Penix Jr. goes on to have an 8-year great career, you take that as a quarterback. Not every quarterback's playing 15, 20, 25 years in the NFL. And what LeBron has done, it's crazy. I hear people say, oh, LeBron James is slowing down. When he slows down, the guy's still a top 10 player in the sport. He's ridiculous what he's been able to do. But eventually this is going to end. And I feel like a little weird even saying that the second likeliest option here is 3 more years. But I don't see this going 4 more years. So right now, this is where I'm at. Let's see if we get what the results are around the room. Pat, how many more years LeBron James be playing? 1, 2, 3, or 4?
I'll give him 3.
Stu, what do you got?
I say 2.
So 2 more years, and I'm going to go with Stu as well. And that's where right now 43% of you are at. You can find the poll question at INF Sportsnet or at Zach Gelb. How much longer will LeBron James play in the NBA? 2 more years being 43%. 26.9% being 1 more year, 19.4%, 3 more years, and 4 more years of LeBron James in the NBA being at 10.8%. The only thing that I will continue to just harp on off of this, I would love to know the answer to this, and maybe Pat or Stu have the answer. Why is he so hell-bent on staying with the Lakers? Don't get me wrong. The Lakers are a legendary franchise. But right now, they're a big fat joke. And I get it, right? JJ Redick's there. That's his podcast guy. His son's there. But maybe outside of JJ, he could have got Bronny to go somewhere else. And that's what I still don't like here. It's not that LeBron got Bronny drafted by the Lakers. That doesn't bother me. This is a cool story. It's cool that we're going to see whether you love LeBron or you hate his guts. It is cool from a human standpoint to see a father and a son share the same basketball court, share the same team, and play amongst one another to start out to start out Bronny's career and to end LeBron's career. That is cool. But why didn't LeBron want to go somewhere else? There are enough destinations that would have put him in a much better spot to go win a championship. And he still could have got Bronny to go to one of those teams. And it's not like the Lakers haven't pushed back on LeBron before. You know, they gave him Bronny because it's the 55th pick. It's irrelevant anyway. But they didn't want to give Ty Lue a 4-year deal. They only wanted to give him a 3-year deal. So they've gone against LeBron James before. So that's my question. I'll ask it to Pat first. Why didn't, in your opinion, LeBron say, I could go get Bronny to go somewhere else and go to that team, and it would give me a better chance to go win a championship?
I think it's comfortability. And I think to a certain extent, like you said, they have gone against him before. But, you know, when we hear people call him Le GM, there is a large percentage of truth in that.
And Le Coach.
Le Coach, Le GM, Le Franchise.
Le Bench.
Le Cap.
Yeah.
So with LeBron James, he knows there is a lot of comfortability in that he has built his home in Los Angeles. Mm-hmm. All the other things that he's involved in, the production company that he owns, the amount of time he's invested in filmmaking and cinema, and he's in Los Angeles. He's now basically...
But it's more convenient, don't get me wrong. But we're talking about LeBron James.
Yeah.
If he has to get back to L.A. to go do some movie stuff, he could get back to L.A.
But look at the Knicks. Look at the most important franchises. Look at the Cowboys. Mm-hmm. Years have gone by for the Knicks and the Cowboys. decades where they have not been close to winning a championship.
And now they are. Well, the Knicks now are.
Yes, the Knicks are, and I guess you could say Dallas was close, but let's be honest, they haven't been to an NFC championship game in how long?
95.
30
95
years?
season. Yeah.
And they're still, quote-unquote, America's team. They still get the most headlines. They still get the best ratings. They still get the most important primetime slots. Same thing with the Knicks. And the Knicks were dreadful. For basically all of 2010s.
They got off that Christmas game for a bit.
Yeah, but it's always still the most famous arena. When the Knicks are even slightly good, you've seen it now the last 2 years. Ticket sales through the roof.
So you're making my point. Why wouldn't LeBron just go to the Knicks? Before OG Anunoby. Why not go to the Knicks? Leon Rose used to be his agent.
But him and Tom Thibodeau would not get along. I don't think they would get along. He's not the best player.
So then you fired. I love Tibbs, but then you fire Tibbs.
No, even at this stage with how good the Knicks have become, and I would take LeBron as he does not fit well in that offense. He does not fit well in that system. And as much on paper, adding LeBron.
You're a Knicks fan. You're a Knicks fan right now.
Yes.
You'd rather have them keep OG Anunoby than sign LeBron James if LeBron James was like, hey, I'd come play for you guys.
Absolutely.
Oh, you're nuts.
No, I'm not.
You're nuts.
OG Anunoby makes LeBron James look like a schoolboy right now in terms of the defending. So the defense OG Anunoby offers versus LeBron is not even close. And that right now, when the Knicks have scoring, and they need more scoring, it's not like the Knicks have...
You're crazy.
No, I'm not.
Yes, you
It's
are.
not like the Knicks are good with the scoring right now. Trust me, I would love to have a Devin Booker on that team. I'm a big Julius Randle defender. I would ship Julius Randle to Phoenix and all those picks if it meant the Knicks were getting back Devin Booker. But they have a true identity, and they have a true system. And yes, they need to be better in the postseason with not going so much iso ball with Jalen Brunson. LeBron James, as much as he has regressed, he's still, like I said, an all-star caliber player, can still get to the bucket, and on a good day can still shoot a three. Many bad days versus good days in terms of three-point shooting. But he does not fit well with the Knicks system and what they're trying to do. So for the amount of money he's getting paid, which would be more than OG Anunoby, the defense that he doesn't offer, and the Knicks have a point guard in Jalen Brunson. So you're putting LeBron in there with another point guard that runs the point for the Knicks, and it's kind of just you're throwing the team out of whack. You're throwing them out of balance where OG Anunoby, can shoot the corner three, which is what the Knicks need. He can guard positions 1 through 5, which is what the Knicks need. He is a much better fit, even though talent-wise, I would still say LeBron is probably the better all-around player.
Not even close.
I don't know if it's not even close.
Oh, he's still a top 10 player in the league.
I don't know about top 10. Top 15, yes.
Okay, where's OG Anunoby?
Probably 25 to 30 range, but he's one of the best 5 defenders in the NBA, hands down, and he's a better three-point shooter than LeBron.
I'm not gonna lie.
That's not even close to debating. He's a better three-point shooter than LeBron.
Okay, in the last 2 minutes, I'm just going to be honest here, and I love you, Pat. When you said you'd rather have OG Anunoby over LeBron James, I kind of stopped listening to you.
No, come on.
I stopped listening. I love you.
I
love you, but I stopped listening to you.
You're making what I said a clickbait headline, and I described it with the Knicks system and what they need. Catch and shoot.
Who are you, Andrew Siciliano? You're accusing me of making things clickbait? You bastard. Shut your mouth.
Catch and shoot, three-point shooter, and on-ball defender 1 through 5. That's what the Knicks need. OG fits that better than LeBron. And don't let me tell you.
Hold on.
He's getting paid $40 million a year.
Okay.
He's a damn good player.
I like OG Anunoby. You can't tell me you'd rather have OG Anunoby, though, than LeBron James. Here's what I'll say, though, because I had to say this yesterday when Connor Green gave some nonsense. The views of Connor Green and Pat Boyle, as much as we love them, do not reflect the views of Zach Gelb on the Zach Gelb Show on the Infinity Sports Network. So I don't want people tweeting me later, Zach, how did you say OG Anunoby? You'd rather have him than LeBron James. That was Pat Boyle. And Connor Green, who was was it Jake Browning, right? He was the backup quarterback for the Bengals yesterday, that last year that filled in for Burrow when Burrow got hurt. Connor's basically saying he'd rather pay Jake Browning nothing than give Tua Tagovailoa $50-something million a year. So, the two of you guys are going to make me... We'd be like Rodgers when he found out Love got drafted.
I'm 10 toes down, doubling down that, yes, I would rather have...
Double what down?
Doubling down.
Oh, okay.
10 toes down.
You said 10 toes down, and I heard you say your ding's down, and I'm like, you what? I go, usually, like, my brain is just wired whenever Boyle works, and there's going to be, like, some sexual reference that he's going to work in.
I'd rather have OG Anunoby than LeBron James on the New York Knicks. Right now, absolutely 1,000%.
So, you know that story when, like, Rodgers found out Jordan Love got drafted, he put, like, 4 fingers into a whiskey cup and then just poured whiskey? Mm-hmm. That's what I'm going to be doing when this show ends at 6 p.m. Eastern time. I love OG. I like OG a lot. But, come on, LeBron, OG, even LeBron at 39, about to be 40. I'd much rather have LeBron than OG and Nobi. But it still doesn't answer my question. LeBron could have elected to go to the Knicks and could have got Bronny there. LeBron could have elected to go to the Sixers and got Bronny there. LeBron could have elected to go to the Mavericks and got Bronny there. LeBron could have said, I'll play nice with Pat Riley. We'll make up, and could have got Bronny there. All those teams. Warriors, same thing. All those teams, better options than Stu's Los Angeles Lakers currently. By the way, we'll take a timeout. When we come on back, I got to check in on Stu. We have not really got Stu's opinion as of late on the Lakers because Stu was basically out 3 weeks. He was watching a dog yesterday, going to some soccer match as well. We have to find out where Stuart Kovacs is at with his Los Angeles Lakers. Is he throwing the purple and gold shorts and shirts that he has into the trash? We'll find out when we return to the Zach Gelb Show.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. 1 minute remaining. "45 seconds remaining. "30 seconds remaining. "15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
What you gonna do? Do you wanna get down? What you gonna do? You wanna get out?
The fun continues on the Infinity Sports Network.
All right, it's time to Ask the Pros, where you, the listener, gets to ask us a question brought to you by O'Reilly Auto Parts. I hear some people are about to tweet me, what the heck is Pat Boyle smoking today, saying that he'd rather have OG Anunoby over LeBron James. But anyway, you can simply tweet your question at INF Sportsnet or at Zach Gelb using the hashtag #AskThePros. Be listening later in the show and we might answer your question. Think O'Reilly Auto Parts for all your car care needs. Get guaranteed low prices and excellent customer service from the professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts. O'Reilly Auto Parts. So, Stu, first off, you were watching a dog yesterday? Is that right?
I was, yes. So my girlfriend and her sister are in Mexico right now with their mom.
Mm-hmm.
And her sister's boyfriend had to go into work yesterday, and they don't like leaving a dog for 11 or 12 straight hours.
Oh, wow. So how long did you have to watch this dog for?
Like late morning till 5 or 6.
So what's late morning to you? 10 a.m.?
Yeah,
10:30?
I think I went over at 10:30 or so, yeah.
Okay, so 10:30 or so, and then you were there to 5 or 6 p.m.?
Yeah, about a little before 6, I think.
And what time was the soccer game that you went to?
9 o'clock.
Oh, that was at 9 o'clock?
That was at 9 o'clock.
I'm not going to lie, Stu. I thought you were pulling a fast one on us yesterday.
See, I that's been happening lately. You guys think you've been catching me in lies or something. I don't know.
Well, the first time, Manny Rodriguez just gave me bad information.
Right.
Because we have the kickball tournament tomorrow, Deion Dawkins charity kickball event. I'm going to bring probably Maggie Gray a tuna fish sandwich if she needs a bite right around lunchtime, and I'm going to make sure
she'll love that.
Oh, yeah. She'll probably throw up on the spot. She could probably never eat tuna fish ever again after eating, what was it, lime, jello, tuna fish, like casserole, and she had to have 7 bites of it. You probably can never eat tuna fish again. And I also said that I just sent out an email to remind everyone. I'm like, Perloff, make sure your hamstrings are all stretched out because I'm sure Perloff is definitely going to have an injury. But Manny was basically saying, because Stu said, it's your mom's birthday, right, this weekend?
Yeah, her birthday was Wednesday. Her birthday's the 26th, so I'm going home tomorrow. We're doing a little family lunch.
Which is very
whatever.
nice.
And when Manny said, last week, and I was like, oh, wait, did I have the wrong date?
Yeah. So Manny was on the show last week, and Manny said, Stu was going to watch soccer with, Boyle, Arzuman, and Gallo, and all those guys. What a crew that is, by the way. And I said, when's the date? And he goes, June 29th when we're all going. And that's when I was like, wow, Stu lied right to my face. And then last night I was talking to you, and you were like, I asked you how the dog sitting was, and we were going to talk about the show for tomorrow a little bit. And then I see you're at the soccer game. Now, I don't watch soccer, so I didn't know the game was at 9 p.m., and I don't think you're someone that would lie. But
I would not.
But I just, I was like, did Stu kind of tell management he was watching the dog, and he didn't want to tell him he was going to a soccer game, but that soccer game wasn't until 9 p.m.
Yeah, it wasn't until 9. I left my apartment at 7:30. Took me 20 minutes to get there.
Yeah, it's easy to get.
It's very easy from where I'm at. Yeah.
Who was playing on the pitch?
It was Uruguay and Bolivia. Uruguay is one of the best teams in South America, so that was kind of the reason I went, because I wanted to see them play.
And I always forget, at MetLife Stadium, they're annoyed that there's turf and they want natural grass, right?
Yes.
So because of all the injuries that occurs, was it grass or was it turf?
It's grass. It's grass that they lay down like before the tournament started.
Were there any injuries?
It did not appear I didn't see anyone get hurt, so I think it was fine.
No, Aaron Rodgers now is going to say, oh, soccer comes into town. They make sure the grass is down, but they have to throw us on the field with the turf. Was that a true story, by the way? Rodgers? I don't know if it was. I saw it on social media. His location was revealed where he went. Did you guys see this?
I did see that on Twitter.
It was Egypt?
Yeah, that's what I saw, yeah.
Like anyone else would be like, went to Egypt? I don't really believe that. But for Rodgers, I kind of believe he went to Egypt. Pat, did you see this?
I did not.
You think he brought the ayahuasca with him to Egypt?
I can't. No disrespect to Egypt. What are you doing in Egypt if you're not going there to do ayahuasca?
Maybe he wanted to wrap himself like a mummy, and that was the darkness retreat this year. Maybe that's what Aaron Rodgers elected to do.
He wanted to get the true to form King Tut experience.
He went into the tomb. But anywho, Stu, let me get your thoughts here on the Lakers as we get sidetracked. I'm starting to sound like the presidential debate last night. I start a sentence and then I start talking about all these other things and time's up. So before we get to Axe Update, on a scale of 1 to 10, 1, not frustrated at all. 10, you are so frustrated that you want to go punch Pat Boyle in the face. JJ Redick. How mad are you that he's the coach of the Lakers?
8.5. I just don't. I think it was a stupid hire. I can't see a world in where he's a successful coach, especially with the situation they have right now. Now, if you want to try to groom him into something down the road, that's a different story. But if they have a short window here, which is, again, like we talked about last segment, 1, 2, 3 years, I mean, the hire just doesn't make any sense to me.
Pat, if he's starting with JJ Redick as an 8.5, and we used it on a scale of 1, no anger, 10, you want to punch Pat Boyle in the face. Why would you want to punch Pat Boyle in the face? You wouldn't. I would start to move away a little bit.
I got a strong jaw. I could take it.
Okay. Where's your frustration that Bronny James is on this team?
So you might be surprised. It's pretty low. It's like a 3 or 4.
I'm with you.
If they use that 17th pick on Bronny, that would be a different story. But the fact they're using the 55th pick, it's also not a surprise. I think we all kind of thought this was what the outcome was going to be. They're using the 55th pick. I don't think they're getting anyone that's going to be transformational. So it's like a 3 or 4.
I said this the entire show. I'm not mad that Bronny James got drafted with the 55th pick. I don't care whatsoever. I'm mad that LeBron wants to stay with the Lakers because he could go elsewhere. That would put him in a much better situation to go win a championship. Where's your frustration at with LeBron James right now, though?
I mean, he's probably a lot of the reason, even though it is denied by him and, well, I guess more by Redick. But obviously, I think Redick was mostly LeBron's call. So he's obviously a part of that.
It was the Lakers sucking up to LeBron.
Yeah, and then plus you add in the fact that this team's pretty much been a disaster. I'll say it again, his moves, it's really, I think he's the one behind all the moves that they've made the past 3 or 4 years. They're in the spot because of him, so that continues to grow. So it's probably like a 9.
Yeah, if you're going to put JJ at an 8.5, I think you got to put LeBron higher than
he deserves a little more than that, yeah.
Where's your frustration with Rob Pelinka?
I mean, again, I just think he's in a tough spot. I don't think he's at fault for really a lot of the moves. I think it's more LeBron. I'm going to put the blame on LeBron. Pelinka himself, a 6.
And then finally, where is your blame with Jeannie Buss?
That's a 10. I think it's a Mickey Mouse organization. That's how it's been run.
Mickey Mouse organization,
which is fitting that they won the title in Disneyland in 2020. But yeah, I just think especially since
do you think that's a Fugazi championship? I don't
because I think every team had to fight through the same circumstances and adversity, and they were also one of the 2 or 3 best teams before the league shut down when COVID started. It wasn't like they were this team that barely squeaked into the playoffs and wound up winning some fluke. They were a really good team. They probably would have been them, the Clippers, the Bucks in a normal season going for that title.
So you're just very frustrated with LeBron, JJ Redick.
Yeah,
and that's pretty much it.
And Jeannie.
And Jeannie, obviously.
The whole thing. It's a nightmare.
Okay.
Tough to stay mad at Jeannie, though.
Why?
What do you mean, why?
Why?
She's gorgeous.
Okay. See,
I can get mad at Jim Dolan because he's not that great looking. I don't know if I can get mad at Jeannie Buss.
Do me a favor. Shut his mic off for a second. There is always a line. And I said to Pat before the show today, I was trying to be like a good coach. And I'm thinking to myself, do I bring it up? Because then, you would know this. If you bring up someone's flaw, then they get self-conscious, and then they still go, oh, I don't think it's that big of a deal, and they still cross the line. Or you bring up the flaw, and they're like, all right, I'll be a little more timid. And so then go with the
Well, no, definitely not.
So you did,
I exactly where he's going.
I do. I want him to explain.
Yes.
So pretty much,
Then you should have done
I
that.
sat down. I said, boy, for the show, I walked up to him. I said, look, young Padawan, this is the line. Make sure you don't cross it today.
You should have known better.
Yeah.
Me saying Jeannie Buss is gorgeous, which is like objectively
It had nothing
correct.
to do with the conversation.
Yes, it does. You're asking Stu how mad he is at her.
Had nothing to do with the conversation.
Basically, you're trying to stick up for her in hopes that you'll get a date with her at some point in your life, which is not happening.
Never know.
Jeannie would have to start basically taking a page out of Belichick's playbook and would have to just start dating a lot of younger people.
Sign me up for that in a second.
Okay.
I'll be the towel boy for the LA Lakers if it means I get to be with Jeannie Buss.
You'll get Bronny his Gatorade during the game.
There you go.
You got him his cookies, too, before bedtime as well. It is the Zach Gelb Show on the Infinity Sports Network. We'll come on back. We'll update you some of the biggest stories in the world of sports. We call it the News Brief. First up, we have the latest Infinity Sports Network update with the Ahmed Rich.
Infinity Sports Network Sports Flash.
All right, after going to the NBA Finals, the Mavericks will look at least slightly different next year, dealing Tim Hardaway Jr. to Detroit to clear some room under the cap. In return, they get Quentin Grimes, while the Raptors are reportedly signing Emmanuel Quickly to a 5-year, $175 million extension just days after adding Scotty Barnes to an extension. The NBA draft is over. The NHL draft begins tonight in Las Vegas. The San Jose Sharks have the number 1 pick and will use it on Boston University's Macklin Celebrini. College hockey's top player just turned 18 2 weeks ago. His name also may be familiar to fans of the Bay Area with his father, Rick, the Warriors' director of sports medicine and performance. The Yankees were baseball's best team for the first 2.5 months, but have really hit the skids lately, losing 10 of 13 and dropping them from sole possession to first place in the American League East. They'll try to halt a 4-game skid tonight in Toronto, while the Orioles now tied with the Yankees for the division lead after routing the Rangers in last night's series opener 11-2. I'm Rich Ackerman.
This is the Infinity Sports Network. Follow us on X. Our handle is INF Sports Network. That's INF Sports Network on X.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. 3 minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. Forty-five seconds remaining. Thirty seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Time for your daily news brief. We get you caught up on the rumors, reports, and reconnaissance from the day in sports.
Alrighty, news brief time. Let's get to Rob Pelinka on the idea of LeBron and Bronny playing together, as yesterday we got to see Bronny James drafted with the 55th pick in the NBA draft.
We know and have to respect, of course, that LeBron has a decision about his opt-out. And I'm sure he and his family and his agent will deliberate what they're going to do there. And of course, he has freedom to decide whatever's best for him and his family. But if it worked out that he was on our team next season, NBA history could be made. And NBA history should be made in a Lakers uniform.
The reason I pause there and I take a deep breath is this. I know you got to say that if you're Pelinka, but once you draft Bronny James, does anyone think LeBron is now going to say, yeah, guys, I'm out? Like, even when he opts out, does anyone actually believe that he's going to then not re-sign with the Los Angeles Lakers? Come on. Stop playing this stupid game. Here is Rob Pelinka on what stood out about Bronny James.
Bronny is, first and foremost, a person of high character. And second, he is a young man that works incredibly hard. And those are the qualities we look for in drafting players and adding to our developmental core at the Lakers.
Once again, I don't care that Bronny James got selected by the Lakers. Doesn't annoy me for 1 second. What I do care about is that LeBron, his top priority is not to go win a championship right now. And that's what it should be. Like, I'm at the point where LeBron, if your top priority is not to win a championship, just go retire. But I respect that he wants to play a season with his son. At least one. I just thought that LeBron could have got both things done, where he could have played a season with his son and gone to a place that gives him a better chance to go win a championship. Here is Dave McMenamin on the ESPN on LeBron's feelings of the Lakers drafting Bronny.
The James family and some of their closest friends and confidants, including Rich Paul, of course, Gloria James, LeBron's mother, and Savannah's parents as well, gathered for an intimate dinner in New York City today to await what was going to happen with the second round. And when they got the call from the Lakers, LeBron James had a champagne toast to everyone there. I'm told it was less than 20 people. And sources tell me he got very emotional in considering the weight of the moment, not just the history for the NBA, the first time you have a father-son duo playing together, and not just the history for the James family being that father and son duo, but really the journey for Bronny James. You think back, it's less than a year ago, last July, where he suffered that cardiac incident. And that was a very serious time, very touch and go for the James family. And here they are together, having one of the most joyous days they've ever experienced, with Bronny being able to complete his goal of playing in the NBA.
It is a cool story. We could all acknowledge that. I also thought it was very funny. Stephen Shea from Barstool yesterday, and you'll like this, Boyle, because you're a resident hornball here on the Infinity Sports Network. Stephen Shea tweeted out, "It has been discovered that LeBron James is sleeping with his newest teammate's mom." Now, Savannah James put that on her Instagram story and did the emoji with the hand over the mouth, and then the next emoji was the laughing emoji. So how do you think that will go over in the locker room where LeBron is sleeping with one of his teammates' mothers?
Well, there's history with that.
If you want to get into the long rumors, nothing confirmed, but rumors that, yes, Delonte West may or may not, rumors, allegations, speculation that Delonte West may or may not have once slept with LeBron's mother.
Yeah, and then Delonte West having to get traded that year. So I definitely don't buy into those rumors, speculation, allegations,
rumors,
speculations,
rumors.
We can't confirm, nor can we deny.
Yeah, no, 100%. Remember the Zach Wilson story? Where Zach Wilson, was it a longtime girlfriend of his, then started sleeping with Dax Milne, who was his best friend and teammate, or he cheated on her, something like that, and then for revenge, she then started dating his ex-teammate?
His ex-teammate's mom.
Oh, was it the ex-teammate's? Oh, wait.
I thought he was dating one of his friend's moms.
All I know.
Or his mom was just setting him up with her friends.
Oh, I think there was two stories here. Yeah. Zach Wilson was allegedly sleeping with his mom's friend. And then the girlfriend of Zach Wilson at the time and then broke up, and then she started dating Dax Milne, who was his former college teammate. That's what I think ended up happening. That's the speculation or the way that I remember it. Let's go to Lawrence Frank. We'll just transition to Lawrence Frank. Clippers president trying to keep Paul George. You got the clip?
Sorry, run that by me again.
Lawrence Frank. See, you mentioned sex with Pat Boyle, and the next thing you know, he can't step up and deliver.
I was trying to get out of the tab of Zach Wilson sleeping with his mom's best friend.
You have a tab there? You got drops?
No. The article about, just to make sure that we had the right info.
Oh, okay.
Here's your clip.
We've had ongoing conversations with Paul and Aaron Mintz, his agent. We love Paul. We very much want to retain Paul, but we also very much understand and respect the fact this is a business, and players have a finite amount of time to be able to not just make the most amount of money, but to be able to pursue whatever they want. We hope Paul's decision is to be here. He's been awesome. He's been an all-star 3 of the 5 years. He's one of the best two-way players in the league. He's a terrific person. He got a great family, so we hope he's here, but also respect the fact that if he chooses to opt out, that that's his choice. He's earned it, and we'll see how things play out.
Now, I just saw Brian Windhorst was on the ESPN a few moments ago, and he said the Clippers are reportedly not acting like they're desperate to keep Paul George. I guess, now I would like to see KD, instead of trying to force his way to the Rockets, I would like to see KD force his way back to the Golden State Warriors. I don't think that's going to happen. So I would like to see Paul George go to the Warriors because it at least gives Steph Curry another player that he could try to go compete for a championship with, because if they run it back with Klay Thompson and Draymond Green, then they got no shot to win a championship. Let's hear from Chris Ballard, the general manager of the Indianapolis Colts. He confirms that Anthony Richardson will be ready for training camp after the shoulder soreness a month ago. This is on the GM Shuffle podcast.
He'll be full go. He was full go all the way up until the last day of OTAs. And, we had 2 heavy throwing sessions the 2 days before, and so we backed off a little bit the last day. And, of course, which sends up, anytime you talk about a shoulder in this city, there's some scars that everybody has. So, but he'll be good to go come training camp.
So I did this yesterday, and I have a new crew, so I'll do it again today. Off of the Anthony Richardson story that he'll be a full go, I said, who's the most intriguing quarterback to follow this year? Like, if you wonder how we're going to be talking about them at the end of the season. Because I think Anthony Richardson is really intriguing. Not that he was great at Florida, but there's a lot of potential. And he only played 4 games last year with the Colts, and he impressed a lot of people, but then unfortunately got hurt. So, Boyle, I will ask you this. And I think the Richardson thing, we got to see if the accuracy could be there. We know he has a big arm. We know he could run. But he also got to stay healthy. So give me a quarterback in the league that's talked about now. We're wondering what to expect out of them, and you're curious how we're going to be talking about them at the end of next season.
I'm going to go Joe Burrow. I'm going to
Really?
Yeah, I'm going to go Joey B here, a guy that is coming off of a long season-ending injury.
Mm-hmm.
And
2 of them in his career in 4 years?
Yeah. He's been injured for basically the last 2 years in a row in training camp. We saw the Bengals beat the Chiefs and go to the Super Bowl. So we know that this core can do that. But now Lamar Jackson and the Ravens have risen up. Lamar's not going anywhere. He's won the MVP twice in the last 5 years. C.J. Stroud and the Texans have risen up. And then the NFC, you got, Jordan Love. So you got all these younger quarterbacks. And we had a 2-year little window where Joe Burrow was threatening to take the throne away from Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah.
And now it almost feels like, not that they're an afterthought, but Joe Burrow's got to reprove that he is that guy, that he is the top 5 quarterback in football. This is a monster year for him, especially with the speculation regarding T. Higgins. We know now that T is going to be in Cincinnati this year, or that's the belief, along with Jamar Chase. This is a big year for Burrow.
I actually would still have the second most confidence in the Bengals in the AFC. Chiefs 1, Bengals would be 2. I was not expecting Burrow, but it's a good point you bring up because of the injuries. And he just got paid, too. Stu, who's your quarterback?
I'll go Deshaun Watson.
That was mine.
He's coming off an injury. He obviously has that massive contract. He really hasn't lived up to expectations yet with the Browns. They have a lot of pieces to try to win. I know it's a tough division, but if $230 million guaranteed, it's kind of time for Watson to show up.
Boyle, are you still a Browns fan?
No. No more.
Here we go, Brownies. Here we go. No.
No, not anymore.
Okay.
Working on New York side and WFN, having to follow the Jets and the Giants as closely as I do. And then the Deshaun Watson signing, I had already kind of fallen away from the Browns.
Yeah.
That was the final straw for me.
I will say, you got a very broadcastery kind of voice now. I know that. I feel like you come here and you unbutton a little bit. And you use all the sexual references on this show, and you go down there and it's like, hey, I'm Pat Boyle. Here, we're going to talk about the Giants. We're going to talk about the Jets, and we're going to forget that I slept on Boomer Esiason's couch once and took one of his beers out of his fridge.
So you think I'm more buttoned up here than locally?
I think you're more buttoned up down the hall than you are here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I think here you're just like, oh, let's have some fun.
Let's let it rip.
I think down there you're like, okay, I got to be serious. I got to be locked in.
That's an interesting observation.
It's just something I'm observing. It's kind of like when Mike Breen did updates on the I Miss in the Morning show. He was very funny there, and then he would get into the play-by-play voice. I'm a serious play-by-play broadcaster now, man. So that's how I kind of look at Pat Boyle. Down there, you're Mike Breen. Here, you're doing the updates Mike Breen style, which would always be dirty and funny. That's a pretty good comparison if I'm comparing you to Mike Breen.
Thank you. I will take that in stride.
Bang! Surprised there was no sexual pun from Boyle off of that as well. We're making progress here. One day at a time. We'll come on back. Ian Begley will join us. We'll get you caught up to date on all the rumors around the NBA.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. Forty-five seconds remaining. Seconds remaining. 15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
To infinity and beyond.
He's live. He's nationwide. This is the Zach Gelb Show. Here's your host, Zach Gelb.
And away we go. Hour number 3 of our radio program. It is the Zach Gelb Show on the Infinity Sports Network. NBA draft is come and gone. Free agency right around the corner. So let's check in and spend a few minutes for a man that covers the Knicks, the Nets, and the entire association for SNY TV. And that is our pal, Ian Begley, who joins us right now on the Zach Gelb Show. Ian, thanks so much for the time as always. How you been, my man?
I'm good, Zach. How are you?
Well, I'm doing fantastic. So let me start you off with the Knicks. The two big moves that they've made, Mikal Bridges for 4 unprotected first-round picks and then some, getting that deal done with the Brooklyn Nets. And then they were also able to re-sign OG Anunoby. Your reaction to what the Knicks have done in the early part of the offseason calendar?
Yeah, so far so good, I would say. OG was the big item on their to-do list to start out. They got that done. And then Bridges, I don't think they even thought that was possible coming into it. I think even they were surprised that he became available to them. And so to get that is tremendous. And now there's still work to do. They have to figure a few things out, including Isaiah Hartenstein, who's expected to get some significant offers as an unrestricted free agent. And you're dealing with some salary cap issues. But, yeah, so far so good for the Knicks.
So we just talked about it like you were saying. They land OG Anunoby, or they bring back OG Anunoby. Then they, before that, traded for Mikal Bridges. Now it's all about, like, what's next. Julius Randle still on this roster. We'll see if they can retain Isaiah Hartenstein. And you just keep on going through with this speculation about maybe Mitch Robinson getting traded. Out of those 3 guys, you know, is it just one odd man out? Do you think 2 out of the 3 will be back? Like, how do you kind of envision this playing on out?
I would think it's one odd man out there. Although, I mean, there's a world where they can retain Hartenstein for the max offer that they can give him, and then everybody's back. But that would require, I think it will require Hartenstein to accept significantly less money than he'll get offered on the open market. And look, I'm never one to tell anybody how to deal with their finances, but it would be a big sacrifice, I think, if the market is the way it reads right now for the centers. So that there is a world where all 3 of them are back, but I don't think that'll be the case. I'd be surprised if that was the case as we get through free agency.
Who is the most likeliest out of those 3 to be the odd guy out?
Hartenstein, because of the free agency thing, because the Knicks, they have his early bird rights because he's been there for 2 years, so they're limited in offering him a max of $16 million year one, 4 years, $72 million overall, and teams with cap space can really come over the top of that $16 million starting salary and, you know, force Hartenstein to make a tough decision, and it would get to the point where it's an offer that, you know, nobody would turn down. So I think that, you know, that's the expectation that had been the expectation coming into the draft here, that he would get that several big-time offers. So if that's the case, I think it's unlikely that he comes back, although who knows? Maybe he takes a big hometown discount and decides to run it back.
Ian Begley here with us. You know, it's kind of funny. For a while, Julius Randle was overrated, and now I think he's underrated because it seems like each and every year, Ian, we talk about the Knicks trading Julius Randle, and he doesn't get traded, and he's an enormous part for this basketball team.
Huge. And you go back to January, right? Because it was Anunoby then, and it was Randle, and it was Brunson, and everybody was healthy, and they were humming. They were really humming. I mean, I do wonder now with Mikal Bridges on board, what's the shot allotment, how does that work in terms of who's getting shots per night and is everybody happy? Also, you're probably going to ask, Josh Hart and Dante DiVincenzo to come off the bench. DiVincenzo obviously played a huge role for them as the starting shooting guard, so that'll be an adjustment. But by and large, Randall has been huge for this whole thing, really, to get to this point from going back to when he started here in 2019. I mean, he's been through a lot. He has been a key part of their resurgence, their renaissance here, and I do wonder about the fit a little bit with the whole group, but you can't discount what he has meant to this organization over the past few years.
I know that when everyone reacts in the moment, Ian Begley, on Twitter, right, things could change. I do find it just very interesting, the coverage, or at least just the tweets. I don't want to say coverage, but just the tweets from fans that are speculating. Like the moment when this Mikal Bridges deal was announced or was reported, right away people are like, that means OG Anunoby's gone. Then people are like, oh, no, OG Anunoby's definitely going to be back. To go back to what you said about Isaiah Hardenstein, I feel like in the last 24 hours, the Knick fan was confident that Hardenstein would be back, but it doesn't seem like you're as confident that he will be back with this club.
I just think if he comes back, it's going to be at a big financial sacrifice. And look, Isaiah Hardenstein has coming off a fantastic season. He's hitting free agency at the exact right time. There's going to be a big market for him, so it's going to be his call whether he wants to leave a bunch of money on the table or not. And I think even, some people in the Knick locker room would tell him, hey, we love you. Well, obviously we want you here, but don't leave any money on the table at this point. Because this is the opportunity, one of the opportunities that he's worked his whole life for. I don't think anybody should fault him if he goes and accepts that larger offer. However, if he decided to come back and take a big haircut to come back, he'd be a hero.
Talking to Ian Begley right now. All righty, so you get the Bridges deal that goes down. Then you had that very confusing Nets and Rockets trade where basically the Nets get their own picks back and then the Rockets basically get all the Suns picks. And there was all this speculation that maybe Kevin Durant is trying to force his way to the Rockets, and then Matt Ishbia comes back and says, no, we love Durant. Durant wants to stay and all that stuff. What's going on with Kevin Durant? I know whenever we say try to get in the brain of Kevin Durant, that's very a complicated thing to do.
Yeah, I hate to speculate there. I would just say that I don't think the big three were aligned together at the end of this season, some point of last season, at the end of this season. And so that's something that Matt Ishbia and the Suns are going to have to work through. Obviously, there's on-court issues, too, with the way the roster was, lack of depth. But, yeah, I think maybe that's where some of it is stemming from. And so you can work through it. You can win games and everybody feels good again. I don't think it means it's the end of the short-lived Suns Big Three, but there are issues to work through. And I think that's where it came from, just people kind of wondering, hey, would Kevin want to be traded? Would the Suns want to trade Kevin? Matt Ishbia, put on a happy face about everything on social media. But I do think under the hood there was some chemistry issues.
Talking to Ian Begley right now. Let's get to the Bronny story. I personally don't care that the Lakers drafted Bronny. It's a 55th pick in the second round. It does nothing for me. My big takeaway has been more so that I just don't think LeBron's top priority is winning a championship. It's playing with his son, which is great for him. I just wanted to see LeBron go somewhere else because I don't think this Lakers team is anywhere close to winning a championship. Just your reaction to this Lakers offseason so far. We'll see what the new LeBron James deal is, but now J.J. Redick, the head coach, and Bronny's going to be on the roster, I guess, in some capacity.
They made a lot of headlines, that's for sure. I mean, the J.J. Redick hire is a risky one. We've seen it work. I guess you could point to Jason Kidd, and we've seen it not work. You could point to Derek Fisher, just ex-players without the coaching experience. But listen, J.J. Redick obviously knows the game well, and he's going to connect to the players. And whether you were for or against him cursing in his press conference, I don't think it was a good look. But one thing I would assume is that clip will be played in that locker room again and again and again, and it'll be something that players appreciate. So maybe that's why he did it. But I say all that to say, unproven head coach, He will have the support of LeBron. That's the biggest element to me of success in the NBA. So I think he'll be okay. The Bronny thing, it doesn't move me one way or the other. LeBron obviously got his son drafted. He wanted to play with his son. He had the power, the influence to get that done, and that's what it was. And, now we'll really see is Bronny an NBA player? Is he not an NBA player? We're going to find out because we're going to see it on the court. But I hear what you're saying, and what you're saying makes a lot of sense. Like, the priority was to play with your son. If you wanted to win, maybe you would have gone elsewhere. Maybe he loves LA and he wants to try to win another one there. If that's fine too. But the priority certainly was to play with your son. I mean, that's obvious based on how things have unfolded the last couple of days.
Well, let's stay in LA. The Clippers. We talked about, right, with the OG and Hardenstein and Randall and Robinson conversation. It feels like on Twitter it changes every 30 minutes. It seems like every time I check on Twitter, Paul George is either going to be staying with the Clippers or he's going to be going to Golden State. He's going to be going to Orlando, maybe back to Indiana. What are you hearing on the Paul George front?
I think when it's all said and done, I think he's most likely to go back to the Clippers. I think that's where it is. I think the Clippers can't lose him. He wants to stay in LA. I would think the Clippers, they've said kind of this hard line on 3 years and a number that's around the extension that Kawhi Leonard accepted. And so that's where they've sat for a while now. Paul George obviously wants more. He wants that extra year. So in some way, shape, or form, I think they'll find common ground. Philly's lurking. Philly is lurking, but I just wonder, like, from a comfort level, I would think Paul George much more comfortable in LA than he would be going to a new team, new franchise, tough town in Philly. So that's my guess. But if he decides to leave, it's going to really shake up the offseason. And the offseason really starts there with Paul George. Starts with, is he staying? Is he going to sign outright with a team like the Sixers? Is it a sign and trade with a team like the Warriors? That's the first domino here, and then everything else will start to fall.
If the Warriors aren't able to land Paul George, do you then think it's pretty damn close of a lock for Klay Thompson to return there?
I don't know, man. I think that I know that he had been open to, even coming east and playing for teams that could contend in the East and not for a max deal, for money that maybe the Warriors would be close to. So I don't know if there's a bridge there, but it's a high wire act for Mike Dunleavy. He's got the Chris Paul option to deal with. He's got Paul George. He's got Klay Thompson. But if I'm guessing Thompson is elsewhere next year.
Yeah, I would also think, and I know it's difficult because Ian Begley here with us. Those guys won so many championships together. It's never easy to break up that core. Heck, that's why I think Bob Myers elected to walk away. But it's like, okay, everyone last year said, don't bring back Draymond. Don't pay him 4 years, $100 million, whatever it was. They did that. It was a disaster this year. It's like they can't do this again with Klay, right?
Yeah, I would think in a perfect world for them, he's signing like 1+1 deals until Steph's done. The same thing with Draymond, like 1+1 deals until Steph's done. Then you keep everybody together. Everybody's happy. They finish their run together. But, obviously the market dictates that Klay can get more and can get a longer deal. So that's what he wants from the Warriors. And I think the point you make is good. I just think that with Klay, it's obviously he was up and down last year, but I think just the way he shoots it, one of the best shooters in NBA history. If he gets, a year under his belt where, he's maybe he's not playing as many minutes, but the offense, finds a way to get him open looks, he's going to knock down open looks. So I do think it's a little bit different than the Draymond situation, but I do see the parallels.
Last thing I'll ask you, Ian Begley, before we let you run, is always great who joins us. He covers the Knicks, the Nets, all the NBA for SNY TV. Been doing so for a long time. You brought up the Sixers, right? They're interested in Paul George. Ultimately, I think Paul George isn't going to go to Philadelphia. They're intriguing on then what they do because you got Embiid. Who knows how much longer he's going to be able to play at an elite level with all the wear and tear in his body. Maxi's a budding star, but once again, it's another offseason where we're in that conversation with the Sixers. How are they going to form out the rest of their roster and get another big piece in there?
And this is a big summer, right? Because you told Tyrese Maxey last summer, hey, we're not going to give you the big extension yet. We want to have our cap space for next summer when we can go make a big move. And so you told Maxey that. And then Joel Embiid, you mentioned, the window is not going to be open, I don't think, for much longer. So this is a key off season for Daryl Morey. I think that, Brandon Ingram would be on the table if he had to pivot off of Paul George. I thought OG Anunoby would be an option for Philadelphia, but I do think they were ready to offer something close to the max. And then, the Knicks came up with the offer that they came up with, which was a significant one, with the 5th year, which Philadelphia couldn't offer. And I obviously OG took that deal, but they were going to be aggressive on OG Anunoby. And so now you turn the page. If it's not Paul George, the options are not fantastic, because trading for Brandon Ingram, you're going to have to give up a lot, and then you're going to have to pay him. And that's not too appealing, I don't think, for Daryl Morey. But it's tricky. You're going to need a scoring wing who can defend, because that's the kind of player that would fit with Maxey, with Embiid. Those guys don't just grow on trees, so it's going to be a challenge for Daryl Morey to figure something out. One thing I think is at least maybe on the radar, I would say, maybe, is Miles Bridges. Like, if Miles Bridges decides to leave Charlotte and Philadelphia is unable to get Paul George, they don't feel like Brandon Ingram, the whole thing would work with the trade. I just wonder if Miles Bridges ends up in Philadelphia, because they will have significant money to spend in free agency.
Well, we'll be monitoring that one. Hey, I may put you in an awkward situation here, so I apologize if so. But I know that you know me well, and I know that you know Pat Boyle, who's working with me today.
Oh, yeah.
Pat and I got into a big fight. Big fight today. He said he'd rather have OG Anunoby on the Knicks rather than LeBron James. If LeBron was interested in going to the Knicks in this hypothetical world and it meant them not bringing back OG Anunoby, would you rather have LeBron on the Knicks or OG Anunoby back on the Knicks?
And LeBron, I'm going to say this. LeBron and the rest of the team is the same as it is?
Yeah.
LeBron on OG's contract, or LeBron on a 1-year deal?
Let's say LeBron on a 3-year deal. Let's go 3 years.
Yeah, I'm going to take OG for 3 years. If you said 2, and if you said 2, I would say LeBron James. But the idea of that, having him at the end of the road, and you're paying him a lot of money, and I would say if that's the contract, I would go OG.
So if it was 2, though, you would say it's LeBron.
I would say I can make a good argument for LeBron, but also to me, it's about, again, I don't know, is there enough shots? How do the shots get allotted, distributed with this group? When you look at Bridges, Anunoby, Randall, Brunson, DiVincenzo, I just wonder how it all works from that perspective. So that's why I think LeBron, if he was willing to, play a little bit of a lesser role and facilitate, I think it would be a fantastic fit if he played at the level that he did last season.
Ian Begley, I love you, but what you just did is you just put yourself in a terrible spot. No, you put yourself in a terrible spot because you're agreeing with Pat Boyle. Whenever you agree with Pat Boyle, something bad happens to you.
Hey, I'll be Team Boyle. I'm good with that.
Someone has to be around here. Ian Begley does a great job. Follow him on Twitter, @Ian Begley, reporter covering the Knicks, the Nets, and NBA, all the NBA for SNY TV. Ian, thanks so much for coming on.
Zach, appreciate you, man. Have a good weekend.
You got it. You as well. There he is. Ian Begley. How about that, Patty Boyle? Boyle and Begley.
Hey, Ian knows ball. Oh. Ian knows ball. And
it was a contractual thing.
The check's in the mail, Ian. Let's just say that.
Did you pay him off before the interview?
No.
Did you say, hey, Ian, it's Pat, just when Zach brings you up at the end, just make sure you agree with me, please.
Go with my lips on his ass when I was talking to him?
You were puckering up.
Anytime he wants to get me an MSG, I'll do whatever it takes.
Sources say you said Hak Tua before that. We'll take
come
a break.
on.
It is the Zach Gelb Show on the Infinity Sports Network.
You're in a 5-minute break. 4 minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. Forty-five seconds remaining. Thirty seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Infinity Sports Network.
This week's NASCAR preview is brought to you by Wendy's. With Wendy's $3 English muffin deal, you don't just get breakfast, you get a proper meal. Get your choice of a sausage or bacon, egg, and cheese English muffin sandwich with small seasoned potatoes. Grab yours today. Terms apply. This week's race takes place at Nashville Speedway on Sunday. It's only the 4th time since 1984 that the Cup Series will be racing at Nashville with Ross Chastain. Is that the name?
That is the right name, yeah.
Okay, Kyle Larson and Chase Elliott winning the previous 3 races there. I feel like anytime we do this NASCAR read, it's usually Denny Hamlin, right?
He is, I believe, near the top of the point standings, and he is one of the guys that has the most wins at a lot of these tracks. So, yeah, usually Hamlin is the one who makes the cut for this.
Yeah, and we did not get him on this read today. So, I don't know if there's something up with him or just maybe it's not as popular for this upcoming race. Anyway, it is Zach Gelb Show on the Infinity Sports Network. Let's just get to Kyle Filipowski in this story. We were talking about this actually yesterday, not the story. I just said, like, if you're Kyle Filipowski and you end up falling out of the first round, if I would have told you that before the draft, would you have just preferred to go back to Duke for a 3rd season? And we went around the room and everyone was like, yeah, you probably just would have rather have stayed at Duke. So this story with Kyle Filipowski, I don't know how much is real. So let me preface by saying these are all just allegations. So this is the story on Kyle Filipowski where teams got skeptical of taking him. Not that there's anything wrong with this character, not that they don't think he's a good kid, and his workouts weren't overly impressive. But the story goes like this, that teams didn't draft him allegedly because they thought his family situation was a little bit weird. He didn't really give clarity on it. And there's something up with his girlfriend. So you may say that and you're like, oh, why should a team not draft someone because of personal issues going on with the family? So, Boyle, I'm actually, in a weird way, going to have you be my checks and balance here. So this could be very dangerous on this story.
Well, I'll keep it kosher.
Yeah. So Kyle Filipowski, when he was in high school, and let me just give this piece of it. His girlfriend now is 26 years old. It was reported that she was 28 somewhere. That was the allegation from Kyle Filipowski's mom. But I saw in the New York Post today, they were able to confirm that she's 26 and he's, 20 right now?
He is 20 right now.
Mm-hmm. And there's a question if the girlfriend is 26 or if she's 28, but I last saw 26 years old.
Yeah, but here's the thing.
Mm-hmm.
So there was a Facebook photo posted to her Facebook December 23rd, 2018, with her with a cap and gown graduating from the University of Alabama.
Okay.
There's also a picture, this is on Instagram, May of 2015, with her in a graduation gown, which would suggest that's her high school graduation.
Mm-hmm.
So that would put her, I mean, again, maybe she graduated high school an entire year early.
Okay.
But there is a chance you graduate high school in 2015 at the age of 18, fast forward 9 years, the chance she's 27.
Okay.
Possibly even 28, but...
So she could be 26, 27, or 28.
Correct.
And he's 20 right now. But this goes back to when he was in high school and even actually before that. Because my thought was, how did this girl and Kyle Filipowski meet? Because they went to his prom. They went to his prom together. Allegedly, from the stories I read, this girl who's now dating Kyle Filipowski was once his babysitter. I don't know when, but she was once his babysitter, the family babysitter. So maybe that's how they first met. Then Kyle grew up a little bit. She got the hots for Kyle. And I would hope, I don't know if this is true, but I would hope his senior year of high school, when he's 18, big assumption here, that's when they first started having a relationship. If it was going to go down that way, I hope he was of age. Now, I don't know, true or not. I'm not going to be Kendrick and start accusing people being with the sleeping with A minor and all that stuff.
Well, here's the thing. Checks and balances. That photo of them at prom is dated May of 2022.
Okay.
Kyle Filipowski was born November of 2003. So that makes him
17.
18.
Oh, 18 at the time.
That makes him 18. However, now again, this is allegation. This is off of
Wait, when's his birthday?
November of 2003.
Okay, so
May of
prom would be in the
2022, he's
summer.
18.
Yeah, gotcha.
So, apparently, allegedly,
you're very well versed on this.
There was a deleted comment. Now, I guess we'll never know. I don't have the article that I'm reading. I don't see the screenshots of the comment that is no longer there. It just says allegedly there was a now deleted comment on that prom photo that was posted to Instagram that says 1 year with my favorite person.
Oh.
If that's true,
Yeah.
that means he was 17 when they were dating. And she was 25 or 26.
If it's true.
If it's true.
Okay. So the story goes, at some point, they started dating. All we know is that the alleged ex-babysitter, the Filipowski family, is dating Kyle Filipowski, or they at least went to the prom together when supposedly he was 18. Now, here's where the story takes a turn. I don't know when. There is someone on Twitter claiming to be Kyle Filipowski's brother and also claiming to be Kyle Filipowski's mother. But they claim they have no more contact with their son, and the only way, or their brother, and the only way the brother is able to reach out to Kyle Filipowski is through Instagram. But I guess that the girlfriend made him no longer talk to his family, and there's some issue with her and the family, and he picked the girl over the family, so he has no contact with the family anymore. And the family, if these Twitter accounts are actually his brother and the mother, they are claiming that this girl, who's now his girlfriend, groomed him into Mormon culture and cut him off from the family. Now, it is important to note, he fell in the second round in the team that he got drafted by, the Utah Jazz. That's all I'm going to say. So that's the Kyle Filipowski story, and I guess teams had some idea that something was going on, and when they brought this up to him, he was very standoffish and didn't provide any clarity with the answers. And they're skeptical of whatever hex this girlfriend has put over the Kyle Filipowski story. So, or Kyle Filipowski himself. Isn't this a bizarre story?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I mean, if you want to go down that rabbit hole and you want to believe everything that has been provided either at face value or slightly more than face value, you can see a route where his now fiance, they're due to get married this summer, basically...
they're engaged.
Yes, they're engaged. They got engaged, I think, a couple months ago.
Wow. And the person claiming to be his mother on Twitter, you're opening a 2-year issue and she is 28 with an endgame 3 years ago to have a diamond ring on her hand. When Kyle left Duke, he was still in high school. That was the allegation the mother threw out there.
And if that allegedly deleted comment was actually true, 1 year, he was 17 when they started dating, that's a no-no. That's illegal.
Yes.
That's illegal. So we could have some legal yellow tape. Not necessarily, like Filipowski, I don't think is going to he can't get in trouble for any of this. If anything, he's a victim. But his fiancee, soon-to-be wife, Caitlin Hutchinson, could be in some hot water here in the months to come. Although, again, they'll be in Salt Lake City not too far along from now. That might just be
slap in the wrist.
Hey, that might not be a lesson, a slap in the wrist. Might be
where did he
applauded by
grow
some.
up? Do you know where he grew up?
So he went to 3 different high schools, from what I was able to attribute from his Wikipedia page.
Very reliable source, man.
For the most part. He's from Middletown, New York.
Okay.
The Wikipedia says. And went to Minisink Valley High School in Slate Hill, which I believe is in Orange County, upstate New York. Then went to Fordham Prep in the Bronx.
Okay.
And then went to Wilbraham and Monson Academy in Massachusetts. And then obviously went to Duke.
So this girl, she's somewhere in the New York, Massachusetts area, I guess? She was a family babysitter?
I guess. I have not gone down the rabbit hole of looking into her identity and everything about her.
Is that a late night topic for you tonight?
That might come to light soon.
Yeah.
But, this is a very, very strange story, and one that if, again, you want to believe everything, is that she groomed him, and brainwashed him, forced him to pick between her and his family, has made him estranged from his family, and now she got everything she wanted.
You're still a single man, Pat Boyle, right?
Correct.
And I'm currently single as well, but we have both dated our fair share of ladies, and you've dated some normal, respectful ladies, and then some ladies that maybe, I don't know, they try to have a little bit of a contentious, let's just say, relationship maybe with people that are close to you, correct?
Correct.
So here's what I just don't comprehend with the story. I have not seen a picture of this girl. I don't care how beautiful she is. But, how did we get to a point? And I don't know if there was previous drama with Kyle and his parents or Kyle and his family. But how do you get to the point where you pick the girl over your family? And sure, I am sure there's a ton of instances and where you date someone, you fall in love with someone, the family can't stand their guts, and you pick the girl over your family. Kyle Filipowski's 20. And I guess he's cut off his family, 2 years ago? That's the part of the story that is tough for me to comprehend.
17 and 18-year-old brain, very easily manipulated.
Yeah, I guess so.
Especially by an attractive girl that's young, that's older.
Mm-hmm.
Tells you, hey, I'm going to help you plan your future. I'm going to make sure you stay on the right track.
But it's really, she used to be the babysitter. If that's true, that's creepy.
I had a babysitter or two that, we'll leave it at that.
Yeah.
But
just
shut up. You can see how it's easy to fall into this trap.
This is one of the more, and this is, remember when Laramie Tunsil had the whole
the bong mask?
Yeah, bong mask. The gas mask.
Correct.
And that made his draft stock fall. We didn't find out about this until the other day is crazy. He was on a college campus the last 2 years. People talk on a college campus. He didn't ever blow off some steam to his buddies and they didn't ever tell anyone. How did no one know about this? The teams obviously heard rumors about this, but how did this get made public until yesterday? It's crazy.
Unfortunately, this kind of stuff happens a lot more often than we think.
Yeah.
And I think they asked, who did they ask from the Jazz front office? And they basically said, we do deep background on all the draft prospects. We're more than happy to have Kyle join the Jazz, and we're comfortable with everything going on.
Yeah. What was that, a quote from Danny Ainge or someone? Jeez Louise. That may take the cake for maybe the most bizarre draft story I've heard. That's an all-timer. And you know what's going to happen now? There is enough out there with this story. The internet detectives, Boyle, are going to be searching through this, and we will have a full clarity on everything about her, everything about the family, what the issue is, how it got started, and Kyle Filipowski.
That was Jazz VP of Basketball Strategy, Steven Schwartz, by the way, with that quote.
Is that Peter Schwartz's cousin? Peter going to start going to Jazz games, getting all those free tickets, sitting courtside?
We begin in Salt Lake City.
I just got a Kyle Filipowski jersey. I'm his biggest fan.
Only if it's for free.
Hey, Kyle, you could come over to the Schwartz family dinner if you don't want to go hang out with your family. We'll at least invite you. Man, that's a sad story. But it is funny that I was saying yesterday that I saw Kyle Filipowski at the Barclays Center, and afterwards you saw that video of some girl, I'm assuming it's his girlfriend, hugging him after he didn't get drafted. It's there was not a lot of other people around him. Well, because I guess him and his family don't talk anymore. So what a bizarre story. Anywho, we will do onside, offside when we return. Update time first. Here he is, the Ackman Rich Ack.
Infinity Sports Network Sports Flash.
The Raptors rebuild started with the OG Anunoby trade, and one of the players they received in that deal will remain a focal point of the organization, with Emmanuel Quickley reportedly signing a 5-year, $175 million extension. The Mavericks are reportedly sending Tim Hardaway Jr. to the Pistons for Quentin Grimes. It's been a busy week for the NBA with some big trades and some wheeling and dealing in the draft, which concluded yesterday. The NHL holds its first round of the draft tonight in Las Vegas. The San Jose Sharks have the top pick overall and will use it on Macklin Celebrini, who won the Hobey Baker Award as college hockey's top player. The 18-year-old is also the son of the Golden State Warriors director of sports medicine and performance, Rick Celebrini. The Astros have turned it around after an awful start. They've won 7 straight and face the Mets tonight in New York. Houston currently has the longest winning streak in baseball. Manager Joe Espada said they've gotten back to doing the right things.
On the field is we pitching, we're playing defense, we're getting timely hitting, we're moving guys over, we're playing clean baseballs on both sides of the ball. And when we do that, we know what we're capable of doing.
The Mets have been the best team in the majors this month, going 15-6. I'm Rich Ackerman.
Hey sports fans, it's JR from the JR Sport Brief. Check us out 24/7 on your smart speaker. Just say, play Infinity Sports Network.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. 1 minute remaining. Five seconds remaining. Seconds remaining. Seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Hey, this is Howie. And this is Nick from the Backstreet Boys. And you're listening to the Zach Gelb Show. And guess what? Zach is back. All right.
He's live. He's nationwide. This is the Zach Gelb Show.
Time to answer Ask the Pros question of the day. It's brought to you by our good pals at O'Reilly Auto Parts. Jim in L.A. says, Zach, do you think the Clippers will be able to retain Paul George? You can submit a question by tweeting at INF Sportsnet or at Zach Gelb using the hashtag AskThePros. Think O'Reilly Auto Parts for all your car care needs. Get guaranteed low prices and excellent customer service from the professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts. O'Reilly Auto Parts. I keep on going back and forth on this because I thought Paul George would be back with the Clippers. Then today I'm like, seems like the Clippers, like with what Windhorst said, aren't that desperate to retain Paul George. I don't know why that would be. And then after talking to Ian Begley, I'm like, does sound like he's going to go back to the Clippers. It seems like Paul George has interest from the Sixers, but he doesn't have interest in the Sixers. Maybe the Warriors, that could be a possibility. But I'm going to say that George is back with the Clippers. If he's not, I think he's going to be with the Golden State Warriors. But I would say, gun to my head, that Paul George is going to be back with the Los Angeles Clippers. All righty, let's end the show out in style. Let's get to some questions and some answers. We do this segment every Monday and Friday. Stu's got a bunch of questions for me. I'll try to give you a bunch of answers in the remaining time that we have. We call it onside, offside. Patty B, hit it.
Zach's taking on the most polarizing issues in sports. Which side of the line of scrimmage will he end up on?
Offside. Defense number 69.
It's Onsides, Offsides with Zach Gelb.
All righty, Stuart. What do you got for me?
All right, Zach. According to reports, the Nuggets are inking guard Jamal Murray to a 4-year, $209 million contract extension. And
some money to be able to get more heating pads and towels to throw them at people.
That's a fair point. I did forget about that. Now, although he's never made an all-star team, Murray continues to come up big in the playoffs, and since 2019, he's the 5th highest postseason scorer in the league, behind only Luka, Damian Lillard, Steph Curry, and Trae Young. So onsides, offsides, Jamal Murray is the most underrated star in the NBA right now.
Can I just ask a question here? And I've been like the leader of the Jamal Murray charge here, where I was, back when they were in the bubble, I was on the record saying that's a team that's going to win a championship. Actually, I said championships, and they've won one, so we'll see if they can win another one. Would Jalen Brunson be considered still an underrated star in the NBA?
I think so. I think a lot of people consider him not a superstar. I mean, I do, but I think there are a lot of people who underrate him. So I think he definitely is one of those.
Pat, take your Knicks fandom out of it. Well, actually, it's probably good if you keep it in it because there's a chance here that you think Brunson is a star. I think Brunson is a star. But do you think he gets the national respect?
Yeah. Yeah, I think after what he did the entirety of this season without Julius Randle for a big stretch of it, without OG Anunoby for a big stretch of it, leading the Knicks to the 2 seed, what he did in the postseason, yes. And the All-NBA team nod that he's going to get, yes. He is not underrated. He is a star.
Well, I think he is a star, but I don't know nationally how many people think he is a star. I still there's a lot of that coverage. People are like, oh, he's a very good player, and they still think they had to do other things, that you couldn't win a championship with Brunson being your best player. I'm just talking about that debate. Here's another one, too. Now people respect him, but up until that championship was Jason Tatum. I think a lot of people would say he's overrated, but in some way, with him winning a championship and shutting everybody up, is he actually underrated by some?
Now?
Mm-hmm.
I think he is overrated by.
Can't call him overrated.
Well, no, I think. Well, no. I'm saying I think a lot of people thought he was overrated. So I guess yes, in that sense, they are underrating him.
Yeah.
And there was still a lot of folks in NBA circles and on social media that still liked to kick Jason Tatum down a couple of rungs because Jaylen Brown won the Finals MVP and Tatum didn't put up spectacular numbers in that series. It was, as we saw postseason, the Celtics just were a flat-out far better overall team.
And De'Aaron Fox is pretty damn good, too. I don't know how much national praise he gets. So I'm going to say Jamal Murray, when you ask me, is the most underrated star in the NBA. I'm going to go offside. And
Offside.
The answer I'm actually going to give, and maybe it cools down a little bit, but I'm going to still give it. I'm going to say it's actually Jaylen Brown. See, Brown, people will always think, oh, he's a very good player, but not worth the money they paid him. And then he just won the Conference Finals MVP and the NBA Finals MVP. So I don't think we're past those statute of limitations of people calling him overrated because of the fact that he just won a championship. So I think that, yeah, Brown is the most underrated star in the NBA. It's a great question. And I still think you could factor Brunson into that, too.
So the MLB announced that both Aaron Judge and Bryce Harper were the top vote getters in Phase 1 of fan voting for the 2024 MLB All-Star Game, meaning that both guys have clinched roster spots in their respective leagues. Now, onsides, offsides, aside from Shohei Ohtani, Judge and Harper are the two most must-see players in Major League Baseball right now.
From a marketing standpoint, it's Judge and Harper. But I know he just got hurt. Like, Mookie Betts got to be on there, too. So I will go offside just because Mookie Betts isn't one of those options there.
The Eagles announced today that they will be wearing their Kelly Green uniforms twice this season, Week 9 against the Jaguars and Week 17 against the Cowboys. Onsides, offsides, the Eagles' Kelly Green uniforms are the best ones in the NFL right now.
Do the Chargers still wear their powder blue uniforms, right?
They do, yes.
That's my favorite. I don't know why. I think the Kelly Green's awesome. I do. I love the Kelly Green. But the powder blue Chargers jerseys, those are my favorite jerseys in the NFL. So the Eagles' Kelly Green uniforms are the best ones in the NFL. Sorry to my friends in Philly. I love the Kelly Green uniforms, but I just love the powder blue Chargers uniform, so I'm going to go offside.
Offside!
A federal jury has ruled that the NFL must pay out $4.7 billion in damages to subscribers of NFL Sunday Ticket between 2011 and 2022, as the case claims that the league sold the package at an inflated price in limited competition. This comes on the heels of YouTube announcing the price for this year's package, which will range between $249 and $489.
That's a pretty big range.
Big range. It depends on like red zone and all of that and how many screens you have at the same time.
Okay.
Onsides, offsides, out-of-market sports packages should be more affordable and obtainable.
Of course, I'm a man of the people. I know those pigs in the NFL won't do it until they have to, but absolutely onsides. They should be more affordable.
All right, we'll squeeze one in here. Caitlin Clark, while she leads the WNBA rookies in scoring 16.2 points per game, her head coach, Christy Sides, wants her to shoot more, saying that she needs to shoot a minimum of 15 times a game. So onsides, offsides, the desire for Clark to shoot more is a good thing for the WNBA.
Absolutely. As much as I love Caitlin Clark's passing, and I think it's tremendous, what draws me into watching Caitlin Clark are those Steph Curry-type shots on the basketball court, as she's the female version of Steph Curry. So the desire for Clark to shoot more is a good thing for the WNBA. Absolutely onsides. By the way, Boyle, the YouTube chat is all over your glasses. They love your glasses.
Yeah, they've been polarizing. Some people hated them.
Yeah.
Some people love them. I'm glad that the YouTube
get you
chat
my
loves
Gucci glasses. That's what we got to work on you next. And Sue, you wearing contacts today?
No, I lost my glasses on the way to work, so I'm basically blind today.
Oh my
Raw
God.
dogging it.
We only have 10 We only got 10 seconds left. Are you kidding me? We could do a whole story on this. Have a great weekend, everybody. Thank you for listening. We out. Bye-bye. Peace.
You're in a 5-minute break.